subscribe.
Welcome to 3 Point Stance Podcast. We have our guy Swift in here. He'll be here in a moment. Welcome to 3 Point Stance Podcast, where we don't claim to be experts. We just give our takes. Take it or leave it. We'll be fine either way. I am so happy to have you all today. I have a whole bunch of guests and podcasters that will be available for you all to talk to hear about all types of things Bears. We're going to go ahead and bring to you the 2024 draft. We're going to talk about the Chicago Bears and the state of the team at the present moment, the coaching situation, and all types of things Bears. At the 6 o'clock hour, we'll be bringing on Coach T of Chicago Bears 360. We'll also be bringing on Dose of DION from a Lions podcast. If you haven't heard of him, check him out on Twitter, check him out on YouTube. He does some great things for Detroit Lions football. For now, I just want to thank everyone for joining 3 Point Stance Podcast. This is our first ever live stream. I'm used to doing everything recording by phone, and I appreciate everyone that's in the chat right now. I see the chat going. I'm pretty sure you guys are excited to talk to Swift, Coach T, and some of the other guys guys and gals that we'll be having on. I'll also be introducing brand new squad members to 3 Point Stand Podcast around the 6 o'clock hour. From 5 to 6, we look forward to having Swift as well as Ill Will once he's able to join us. And then towards the middle, I'm not going to say when so that you guys won't dip off on the show, we'll announce the actual ticket winner. So that's my teaser for that. Once again, I want to thank my guests who are all around the U.S., Cincinnati, Ohio, Atlanta, Florida, Cali, and all of our guests that are all around, all over from the UK, Europe, as well as America and other countries that are tuning in as Bears fans. So what I want to do is go ahead and let's bring on Swift to the show from backstage.
What's good, my man?
Not sure he's going to come on camera right now. He's got.
I'll have it on in just a second, yeah. I was retweeting your tweet and stuff, getting it out there for the people.
Oh, yeah, man. I appreciate that. While he's doing that, the chat, go ahead and like up the chat, like the video, leave a bunch of bear downs if you can. And we'll get into introducing Swift when he gets on camera so he can tell you guys where you can find him and his fantastic YouTube with great breakdowns, great personnel information, breaking news for Chicago Bears. Looks like Swift probably needs a little bit of a minute. Let me give you a little bit more about the show. So I started 3 Point Stance Podcast last April 2022 off a whim. Jumped on Twitter and was tweeting to a lot of different people. Met guys like Swift, Ill Will, Coach T, etc. in the beginning. And a bunch of you guys that are in the chat, guys and gals, actually. Let's not leave out the female Bears fans. Foster is also going to be on the show later on at 6, last minute edition. I really appreciate them for having me on BCP Bears Country podcast last night to talk the Bears, talk about this giveaway. And just to let you know, let's bring up that the ticket or the promo so people can see exactly the seats that they are and will be sitting in. Shout out my nephew Snoopy, aka Vic. He's over here helping me with production. This is our first time doing this, and he's doing a fantastic job. I'm getting my nerves out and feeling real good about everybody being here in the chat. Let's see if we can pull up the actual ticket overlay so they can see the exact seat number. Boom. You guys will be in section 149. That's row 11, 7, and 8. Right there in the corner of the end zone, just around the tunnel where I believe they come out, if I'm not mistaken. If not, great seats regardless. We can go ahead and move on. We're going to go ahead and bring on Swift. Once he's able to go, I think. Let's see here.
I'm here. I could talk. I'm just, my cam's not loading up. I got to restart the program.
Oh, man, it's all good. I'll be having all the technical difficulties myself. So
my cat loves to climb on my desk anytime I'm trying to do a live show, bro.
I swear. My dog is the same way. She always comes over here when I'm recording or my wife is working in the office next to me. So, again, this is our segment. Well, we're going to go ahead and get podcaster. So, again, you guys all know Swift. You guys know Swift more than you guys know me. Swift, go ahead and tell them where they can find you.
I mean, Swift Sports Network, channel I started just about 2 years ago, kind of a passion project of mine. I've always been a lifelong Bears fan. Kind of was motivated by the loss of my sister during COVID to do something bigger and better. And I love this channel and couldn't be happier with the fans and cool people I've interacted with. Not only the people who watch my videos, but also other aspiring podcasters and podcasters like you and Nick Grody from Just Another Year Chicago. A lot of cool people out there, and I'm blessed.
Absolutely. Now let me tell you guys a quick story. Swift, he's been pushing me since day one, about April of last year. Every time I slack off or act like I don't want to do this anymore, there's a situation where I got a little sick. I had a situation, a little health scare at the White Sox game last year around June, was that June 22nd of 2022. Got too hot out at the White Sox game, passed out, and had to be hospitalized. Got released the same day, but the energy wasn't the same. The doctor said my kidney had a situation, said it's a little bit of a failure, and so I had to recover. So a lot of that time I was just doing shorts and, you know, maybe a video here and there. And Swift was always in my ear, like cheering me on, like, bro, when you get better, if you need me for anything, if you want to join my channel, if you want to just talk anything, come on for 5 minutes, or if you need me on for 5 minutes to keep your, you know, your viewership going and help to get your subscribership moving, you know, I got you. And he's taught me so much over this past year. I'm trying not to get emotional because there are so many things that's happened over this last year. And that's why we are having this episode and doing this giveaway. We grew from literally nothing to over 2,000 followers on Twitter, and now over 500. I think we're at 513 at the start of the show. Subscribers to 3 Point Stance Podcast, without live streams, without, you know, interacting very much through a live stream with fans or in a chat. So we appreciate everyone that's tuning in. It's big ups to you guys. So Swift, can you tell me, I know you said you've been a lifelong Bears fan. Do you remember exactly when you became a Bears fan, or a memory, your earliest memory?
Watching Walter Payton. I mean, I was young. I remember watching, my earliest football memories were watching Barry Sanders and Walter Payton. And when I first started watching football, what got me into it was fantasy football. My stepdad was a big fantasy football guy, had a thing in his office. They did a fantasy football league. I won it at like 9 years old. And he was like, you just beat all these grown dudes. You're good at football. And ever since then, I've loved the game. But it was Walter Payton. I wasn't old enough to watch the 85 Bears, but I got to see videos of it, replays, and hear stories growing up my whole life of how dominating that team was and what a special player he was. And I have memories of watching him as a kid. Now, the first the thing that really grew me as a Bears fan was probably the 2003 to 2000, the Lovie Smith era. That
Mm.
that was when I became just a super diehard fan. I was old enough to understand the game better, and I was following the draft. I remember the first few drafts I followed really hard were the ones where we took Brian Urlacher and Mike Brown back in about 2001, and I loved those guys coming out. And after that, I was excited every year to who can we get? How can we get this team better? And that was something that how do we win? And after we brought in, I remember going to training. I went to training camp for 20 years straight. I think the first training camp is what really sold me. It was I think it was 2002 we went, 2001, but 2003 was the great one. We added Charles Tillman, Lance Briggs, Rex Grossman, all these guys, and they were rookies, and they interacted with us. Like Charles Tillman would come over and talk to fans for like 2 hours after practice. And I remember talking to guys and just seeing how they were as people. And it was something that back then there wasn't social media. You didn't really have as much exposure to the NFL players because they all have helmets on. It wasn't like NBA and MLB where you get up close with the players. And going to training camp for so long and getting to really know the players and see them and hear them. Like I'd go there and you'd hear Mike Brown yelling at the rookies. Like he'd have his jersey tied up, right here, and he'd be yelling, "Rookie, hey, rookie, hey, rookie," and yelling at him and cussing him out and stuff. I won't say everything he said, but those were some great times, man. And I've just been diehard all my life. 2006 breaks my heart. We needed to win that game.
Absolutely. I think I can go all the way back to the 80s. I'm kind of aging myself with some of that. I know you're in your mid 30s. I'm 41.
Okay.
I can go all the way back to seeing, even being 3 years old and seeing the Super Bowl shuffle commercials and the music video and things like that in the late 80s when we had
a
successful defense and a legendary team. I see a comment in the chat. Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous. I'm excited more. I'm anxious. I'm excited to get this show going. I got my boy Swift, one of my best friends, especially when it comes to this podcasting game. I got Coach T, who just checked in back in the back, stage. He's getting himself ready. I got some of my favorites. So I'm trying to be perfect. I'm trying to be just as great as these guys on a daily basis whenever they do their content. So I appreciate everybody coming there. Throw them jokes. I don't mind. Yes, indeed. QB1, he is him. So
I'm rocking the hoodie tonight. It's Hoodie Swift, bro. We got Justin
season,
Fields on
baby.
it. You know what it is.
Let's go. All right. So now that I got a little bit comfortable and now I'm getting used to this thing, Swift, let me go ahead and give you a few personal questions to make you laugh, to get the chat a little bit of get to know you, some little quirky questions. So we'll start off with, what's your biggest pet peeve?
Biggest pet peeve? People that talk about things that they simply don't understand or try to preach things that they don't understand and are too lazy to basically stupidity or ignorance. But people who want to talk about things that they don't understand, especially when it's something that's like factual and you can spend 10 seconds. We live in an age of knowledge where you can literally type anything into Google and find out answers with a little bit of research in just a few minutes. Sometimes just seconds if it's a simple answer, and people still want to go around just spreading lies and misinformation for no reason. And it's just a weird era. And that's something that really gets to me. I should probably stay off social media altogether because I'm not built for it. I'm not a social media guy.
I feel you. So basically anything Bears Twitter kind of gets you triggered a little bit, when you see those guys throwing out those tweets. I think you've had to calm me down 100,000 times over the last year. Like, bro, I be going hard. Why are you going so hard, Bill?
That's funny. I think that's something that people won't realize. A lot of people, they get this impression of me that I'm like angry all the time at Twitter. And it's like, I'm not mad. I use cap locks for emphasization. That's how I talk as well. Like when I talk, I like to emphasize certain points and not just talk in monotone voice the whole time. It's like, It's like, hey, I love Justin Fields. It's like, and when I do that on Twitter, everyone thinks I'm upset and mad and screaming. And it's like, it's just not the place for me because people were have these preconceived notions based off a couple of tweets and feel like they know you. When for me, really, Twitter is just a place to vent where I just see a bunch of stupid takes, and I wake up in the morning before I'm fully awake and I'm like, let me go tell these people they don't know football. and then I get off Twitter for the rest of the day and I'm not on there all night. I'm working, I'm doing my thing, I'm watching tape, and then the next day I get on Twitter in the morning again and I got like, 200 notifications and I'm like, look at this idiot. And then I get off there, but it's all just fun, man. But I think that's the thing. People need to be more lighthearted, that it's football. Just because someone doesn't agree with your take doesn't mean they dislike you or that they have anything personal against you. It's all just football. We're all Bears fans and we want to see this team win.
Exactly. I've been seeing a lot of people going back and forth with the Justin Fields, the quarterback situation, the next coach situation, the Caleb Williams, who's the number one draft pick if we do have the number one draft pick, all those things. And I went back and forth with different people, but at the end of the day, we just have to continuously produce the content we want to produce, speak on the players that we love, and really don't give a damn about what the fuck they talk about, to be honest. So I'm gonna have one more question, then we're gonna get into a couple questions about the last game. It's been about a week and a half since the Bears pulled off a win. Almost seemed improbable the way that game was going. It seemed like we was just destined to lose. So we'll get into that in a second. But one more quick question just to get to know Swift. Let me see here. What's a good one? Favorite place to take a nap?
Favorite place
Couch
to take a nap?
Or the recliner?
Couch. I've never been a recliner napper. I know a lot of people that have, and I've spent a lot of time. Sorry, I just got distracted. I've spent a lot of time in a recliner, like playing games, watching football or whatever. But like, I'm not a person that like falls asleep. Like I'm in my computer chair like most of the day. Like sometimes 18 hours a day, I'm sitting in this chair watching film, writing up videos, editing, working, and like when I'm gonna go to bed, like I'm getting up and at least laying down on the couch. Like I gotta lay out. I'm not a fall asleep at my desk type guy. So no, it's got to be the couch or the bed. I mean,
I hear. All right, go ahead, chat. You guys go ahead and answer that amongst each other. What's your favorite napping spot? The couch or the recliner or other? Maybe outside in the grass. I don't know. Maybe y'all crazy like that. So we're gonna go ahead and get into this Bears game. So again, that Bears game was heart attack central for me. I felt like we can pull it out. Sloppy offense. The defense did their thing. So it was like, man, I hope we can pull this out and not have another devastating loss like we did to the Detroit Lions. So my first question to you is, what positives can you take from that game that can take us through the last 5 games?
I mean, the defense is the biggest positive. One of the things I saw is the pressure from the front four. Montez Sweat, Gervon Dexter is a guy who just continues getting better and better every week. I've seen a lot of people who are negative on Gervon Dexter, and I just don't get it. Like the guy was very raw coming out of college, hadn't played football that long in his entire life, and here he is getting into the backfield, pressuring a quarterback, destroying some veteran offensive linemen who've been in the league a long time, and he's still so young and inexperienced, and I just think the sky's the limit for the guy. And then on top of that, the secondary. Since Kyler Gordon has returned, paired with the presence of Montez Sweat on the defensive line, also Jalen Johnson and Tyreek Stevenson, even Terrell Smith, Jaquan Brisker. I'm going to leave Eddie Jackson out. He hasn't played that great. But our secondary is top 10 in the NFL. Like that's just easy. I've been saying that since before the season, that if those guys are healthy, and even without consistent pressure from the defensive line, that's still a very talented secondary. And I think that's the biggest reason for positivity going forward, is this defense has really stepped up. But then also, I mean, seeing Justin Fields lead the team down the field for a game-winning score, that's good. Seeing just how he's been able to operate this offense, and when you watch the game at home as a fan and you see Justin taking steps as a leader, calling out Dan Feeney when he's making mistakes, calling out receivers, but also taking accountability. I'm so excited to see Justin Fields continue growing. That's another reason. That's personally for me, always Fields. But then, yeah, someone in the Mark just said it in the comments too. TJ Edwards and the linebackers. I'm not trying to leave them out. Like Sanborn's played well, and I'm a fan of Tremaine Edmonds. I know he's getting a lot of hate, but that's a 24-year-old who's already been to an all-pro, learning a new defense. I think he's going to be a stud, and TJ Edwards is already there. So this defense is right there. Let's keep adding to it, and we could be a top 5 defense going forward next couple years, not this year.
Okay, yeah. I heard you say a little bit about Justin Fields, and you know how we are. We Justin Fields crazy. You know, I just ordered. Big ups to Coach T. I know he backstage. Hopefully, I'll show him. He threw up the doll that everybody should go ahead and order.
Oh, I don't got that one yet. Okay.
And he said, "Go." I know you got the Funko Pop.
Yeah, the Funko Pop's back there, but he's covered.
That's the one I wanted, man. And they sold out of it super quick. So
Coach
said we need to.
I got 2.
All the haters. Oh, you got 2? I need to buy that one.
I did. You know, I might have to sell one at some point, you know, if it don't come back out.
Yeah, so Coach told all the haters to go ahead and buy one of them. So I'm not a hater, but hey, it's limited edition. And I got the one, it's one out of every 12 that's a color variant. And at first I thought it was a little racist, because if you look at this motherfucker, it's a all dark face.
Your light is not showing it well. I think I've seen. I think that one. I didn't like the way it looked. I think that's why I didn't get that one and went with the Funko Pop. I was like, that one looks weird.
Right. That's exactly.
I like the realistic ones that actually look like him, because if someone looks at it and can't tell it's Justin Fields, then I don't want it. Facts.
And it's like he's all deep navy, almost like slave black, and I'm like, come on, man, like y'all trying to be racist? But anyway, we're not gonna go that route. But speaking of Justin Fields, that game, he had his finest fourth quarter moment that I've seen in a while, especially after I say a moment. I know people are going to be like, well, what about them 2 fumbles? I'm talking about moment that he's had in a long time and finally delivered. Would you consider that play a signature play for Justin Fields?
The pass to set up the field goal?
Yep.
I mean, you could call it that. A lot of people look at it that. I like his big time touchdown passes more. Like, I like the touchdown pass against the Lions more. The clutch situation where he had missed DJ Moore earlier in the game by a couple feet, and he comes up in a 3rd and long, and finally gives him a chance, and he just unleashes a bomb in Detroit on the road in a hostile environment to take the lead late in the game. Like, that was a signature moment for me, even though we didn't win the game. But last week, a lot of people care more about wins and losses. And yeah, I want the Bears to win. But if we're talking specifically about Justin Fields' improvement, I think that drive against the Lions was much bigger. Last week was a game where we shouldn't have been in that position, honestly. We should have put the Vikings away by that point. But Luke Getsy had called the game scared. And that was Justin Fields. What he did on that possession was what he shouldn't have to do, is when you're put in a position where you have to do something and carry the team down the field, but you love to see him making the big time play in that moment. I would have liked to see them keep driving and score a touchdown and just put the game away and not kneeling the ball down there. But I understand why they're playing it safe. They hadn't had a win in so long, but both drives really good. But yeah, I have a lot of confidence in Fields. You know that.
Absolutely. So speaking of Justin Fields, and you named a bunch of players, me and you were talking about Dexter and Roschon Johnson in the draft, your draft preview. Y'all go ahead, and if you ain't sat or subscribed to Swift, I don't know what you're doing. That's wild to me. But his draft specials are incredible. So if you need to go back and get the facts about this particular draft class, I guarantee you he's spot on by about 75, 80% of those guys. And I know me and him said Roschon Johnson and Dexter before they were even drafted. So give me maybe 1 or 2 on each side of the ball, young players that are prime for breakouts over the last 5.
Over the last 5. What do you mean by over the last
For
5?
the
Over the last 5
games.
games of the season?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. That's tough on offense because I mean, right now it's Justin Fields and DJ Moore. I think we're still going to see a split at running back. I think we could see more Roshan Johnson and a little bit less Khalil Herbert going forward with Deontay Foreman coming back. I think there's a chance that Foreman gets some of the early down work, and Roshan has proven that he's the best pass blocker. You could also, I kind of wanted to name Tyler Scott, but he's out this week now, so it's going to be tough. We need another receiver to step up down the stretch. Hopefully Darnell Mooney, but someone has to step up there. I think Nasimba Webster could even end up being active for this game because we have so many injuries all of a sudden at wide receiver out of nowhere. So Webster was good in preseason and camp. I mean, I saw Foster actually just threw his name in chat right there. Me and Foster saw him down in Indy, and he looked good. He looked good. So I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Webster because right now, literally, our wide receivers we have DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, and Trent Taylor. Those are our 3 wide receivers on the roster that are active and healthy for Sunday. So Webster should be up and be number 4, and then you could see him on the field even. And it's kind of crazy. But hey, that's where we're at. That's why we need wide receivers in the offseason. And then on defense, obviously, Javon Dexter's my guy. I think he's going to come forward and keep playing better. And then corner, Tyreek Stevenson and Kyler Gordon, watch out for those guys. They're both ballers.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree. I've been on the Dexter train for before the draft, and he's just a monster. And everybody was complaining about the get off and will he be able to adjust to the speed of the NFL and things like that. And he's getting back there. Whatever he's doing, even if you can time it and say he's a millisecond off, he's pushing people back in the pocket and causing some havoc. So I'm loving it over the last few games, especially with the defense improving. I think he's a major reason why we're getting that pressure. Obviously, we added Montez Sweat. That helps a ton, but you can see Dexter absolutely get that pressure. So you spoke on Mooney. You're like chewing up everything for me, and like without even knowing that you're doing it. That's
my bad. My bad.
No, you're absolutely like it's helping me. Shit. So, extend or not to extend Mooney, Tevin Jenkins. I'm sorry, I'm reading the last name, and Jalen Johnson.
I think the 2 out of those 3 are must extend. I think Tevin Jenkins is possible when healthy. He's our best offensive lineman, and I think the fact that he hasn't been healthy all this time, I think that could actually help us out getting a long-term deal done with him. Now he does have another year, so Poles doesn't have to extend him until the offseason or the end of after next season, but maybe he wants to see him stay healthy. But I would go ahead and get the deal done with Tevin Jenkins this offseason, extend him past that 1 year and get him done with a little bit of a value, because we already know, you see it on tape, like the only issue with him is staying healthy. So maybe put some injury clauses in the contract if you have to, but that guy is a monster. And JJ, same, man. I mean, if you can't work out a deal with JJ, you franchise tag him. He's not going anywhere this offseason. He has to stay on this team, and I think he already knows that. I think that's pretty much a done deal. If a deal isn't worked out, he's franchise tagged. It's as simple as that. Poles isn't letting him walk, or he would have traded him this at the deadline. He didn't do it. So it comes down to just finding that number and reaching an agreement. With Darnell Mooney, it's tough because our wide receiver room right now it's DJ Moore and a lot of nothing. And that's not a slight at Mooney. I like Mooney, and I think Mooney can be a good player, but we need more players around DJ Moore other than just Darnell Mooney. So it comes down to, how much does Darnell Mooney want? If he's asking for 15 to 20 million, see you, Mooney. Like, you're gone. I can probably replace your production with Tyler Scott, and then I'm going to draft and possibly spend some money in free agency at wide receiver, because this year's wide receiver class, I know I talk a lot about Marvin Harrison Jr., but this class is special. I would be almost as happy with Rome Odunze or a couple of other guys. That class is deep. So Mooney, it depends on what he wants, but what I would do is I would probably, if Mooney doesn't want it, I would extend DJ Moore now early, give him extra money,
Mhm.
keep him here even longer, make sure he's happy, and then reach out in the draft to try to fill out the rest of that room, because right now we're really thin at wide receiver. Everyone's like, well, we got DJ Moore, but it's like, we need more than just DJ Moore.
That sounds like money calling.
No, that's Will. That's Will Wright from the guy I did the show with last night. He's calling, probably asking about when that show's going live. But I'm live right now, bro. You can't call me. I'm sorry. Should have muted that.
For sure. I appreciate it. No, you good. You know what I'm saying? We talk all day, every day sometimes. So, just to let you know what I'm doing and how we do things over here, I'll be throwing up different comments throughout the show. I'll tell you which ones we should address or whatnot. But I like to give the chat their love and try to show as many as possible, especially while other people are talking, so you can see and we can see people who are kind of in agreement or in disagreement, but at least show them the love for them joining us and spending time with us and giving interactive. So we're gonna move on to the next thing. Cole Kmet just recently had a comment. Basically, the comment went, I'm paraphrasing, who knows what can happen at 9 and 8. So basically, if we can find that tweet, let's go ahead and pull that up. Basically, he said, I'm treating it like we're in playoff mode. I think 5 very winnable games here to end the season. Who knows what could happen at 9 and 8. Now, let's bring us back in. Let's think about that. And my thought on that, and I'm sure I've seen it circulate on Twitter as well with Bears Twitter fans. If they had a run, let's say that's impossible. Let's say maybe 3 out of the last 5. How would you feel about them that actually changing the mind of Ryan Poles, Kevin Warren, and maybe that actually being the decision-making point to retain them in 2024? I'm speaking of Eberflus and Getsy.
Ooh, the coaching staff?
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough one. That feels very Bears-like to have coaches that probably aren't the answer, but then win a couple games and go ahead and stick with them a year longer than we should. I feel like we did that with Nagy and Pace back in the day. I felt like they definitely should have been fired a year earlier, and we should have brought in new coaches the year we took Fields. But to me, this is a little different because I have compared our rebuild to the Lions. And if this team, I mean, if they could win, I don't think anything's impossible in the NFL. I mean, any given Sunday, and I've seen a lot of teams winning 5 games isn't impossible for any team. I mean, the Panthers, knock on wood, we don't ever want to see it happen, but they could come out and get hot down the stretch. I mean, it happens in the NFL all the time. Teams get hot. No one expected the Raiders to win earlier in the season after they fired their coach. It just happens. No one I had so many people tell me that the Patriots and Cardinals wouldn't win another game this season. They would post pictures of their schedule. Tell me who they're going to beat, Swift. Tell me who they're going to beat, Swift. Well, it's any given Sunday. None of them were predicting the Cardinals to beat the Steelers or the Steelers to beat the Patriots and all of this to go. I mean, the Patriots to beat the Steelers. Things happen in the NFL every week. And if this team wins 5 straight games, I've already said it on my channel, I think the NFC is there for the taking. If they finish 9 and 8, they're in the playoffs. I think that's just that. I think the NFC isn't good enough at this point for a 9 and 8 team to not make it. And that's very hypothetical. Like Cole Kmet said, they are winnable games. And if they do that, if they end the season 6 straight, Poles or Eberflus is probably safe for sure. Now, if they win 3 or 4 out of the next 5, say they lose one or 2 of these, and they obviously fall short, which is the most likely scenario. I hope for the change. I hope that they can get things right. I know Getsy's not the guy. I'm not against Eberflus coming back. I just feel like he's not special. I think Eberflus, he might be an okay coach. He definitely has this defense playing good, But at the end of the day, he doesn't have this defense playing revolutionary. And if you have a defensive head coach, you better do something special on that defensive side of the ball. And it's taken him a year and a half to have them not be the worst defense in the NFL, basically. So that's not special in my opinion. So honestly, I am hoping they can finally, even though coaching change sometimes can lead to a step back in the rebuild, I kind of hope that they can actually get this right for once. If that guy is Eberflus, then hey, I'm all for it. But I want the right guy here because I'm tired of having awful head coaches. And so far, what I've seen, I don't have a lot of confidence in these guys.
Absolutely, I agree. I'm pulling up this ESPN 1000. They started a poll. This was a few days ago, I think, maybe Monday or Tuesday, when I noticed it after I had wrote up that question for you. So they proposed a question after Cole Kmet said what he said. And my opinion is, Eberflus has had this defense balling. We played a top flight offense and we played Minnesota. So, people can't say, well, it was just Minnesota or it was this team or that team. So if he can continue to keep this team, or at least his defense, balling, and we win a few games, I kind of feel the same way. Like, stick with Eberflus, because then it just shows that from the start of the year to now, he just needs time to get all these new pieces in there, get through all that turmoil and craziness, firing a DC, firing I think a running backs coach, and all that other stuff that was going on with like Claypool and locker room stuff. And now it seems like people are gelling. They're excited. We're seeing Ryan Poles shouldn't say that, walk into Suge Knight style, walk into a locker room and bear hug Justin Fields and lift him off the floor like he's 37 pounds. So, it seems like people are at least enjoying the team. Maybe not so much Eberflus. Maybe they just have that camaraderie boosted finally and they're really playing for each other. But I feel like if he wins a few games, 3 or 4, and if it does get to 5 and that defense is balling, you got to consider keeping Flus to keep that defense going, putting more pieces in there, and then finding that guy to take Justin Fields. And since there are going to be people in the chat, the possibility of a Caleb Williams or another quarterback. But whoever is playing quarterback, we need somebody else outside of Luke Getsy, unless we see something dramatically change, like we did kind of after week 5 or 6 last year, where he continuously invests in. What?
No, I think that's where it kind of has changed my mind on Eberflus. That's something I've thought about, because I was kind of on that train of we need to fire Getsy, but Eberflus is okay in my mind. But thinking about that now, when you look going into next season, if that were the case, let's say they kept at Eberflus and fired Getsy and we're going to bring in a new offensive coordinator. What kind of offensive coordinator wants to come in here with underneath Matt Eberflus, who with his record is what it is? I mean, that's just what it is in the NFL. That's how guys will look at it. Now, the selling point, I think, that could sell a young offensive coordinator or someone who wants to call plays would be Justin Fields, the #1 pick, DJ Moore, and the potential of Caleb Williams or a Marvin Harrison Jr. or some really exciting players to work with on a young upcoming team. But at the same time, I think if you want to get one of those young, bright minds, you're going to want to get one that's a play caller, that's already called plays, because I'm tired of bringing in guys who haven't called plays in the NFL. And in order to do that, we have to hire him as a head coach, because the NFL doesn't allow you to just take another team's play caller and bring him in and make him your play caller. You have to promote those guys. There's the rare circumstances like Eric Bieniemy, where he was in Kansas City, was offensive coordinator, and he didn't call plays. And they allowed him to go to Washington and call plays, but they had to give him a different name for his job. He's assistant head coach and offensive coordinator, so it technically was still a raise. But so to me, I think I'm almost at the point where Eberflus has to go unless Getsy can show some miracles going forward and show us that It's doubtful, but if he's shown it, you've seen flashes of it. You've seen this offense perform at a high level against great defenses, but then you see him take his foot off the gas. And I asked this question last night. It was something that I posed is Matt Eberflus has final say on the offense too. He said that in pressers. He has final say on the offense and the defense. So is it Matt Eberflus? Think about this. When Getsy's calling a great game and we're up 28-7 on the Broncos, is it Getsy who's taking his foot off the gas and changing what he does? Or is it Matt Eberflus telling him, don't mess this up? I trust my defense because I'm a defensive head coach. Just don't turn the ball over and I'll win this game. Because I feel like that's Matt Eberflus and that's his. This is his team. He's the head coach. So this is what would have happened. Okay, so that after that Broncos game when Getsy took his foot off the gas and the Broncos came back and won. If it wasn't Matt Eberflus, then Eberflus would have went to Getsy right then and said, don't do that again. But to me, since it continues happening, I think it's not just Getsy, but also Eberflus who's overseeing Getsy. So to me, I'm almost at the point now where I just want to clean house.
I hear you. So Doug Van Dorn, I've seen the comment. What's up, Dougie V? I call him Dougie V when he on BCP, Bears Country podcast. That guy is a huge, big time supporter of everyone. Pretty much like one of the nicest guys.
Oh yeah, great dude.
That I've met on Twitter. So I guess he gave you your answer. Like I seen the comment in the middle of Swift. Like I told you, he's a mind reader. He can cue up anything. So Swifty.
I would have liked to do that. I would have liked to do that during the bye week. Like what he said, I felt like I was at that point that Getsy needs to be fired, but I don't want to go into next season doing that. We had a chance to do it during the bye week or even earlier in the season. It doesn't take a rocket science to see that Getsy isn't doing his job, and we didn't even have to fire him. You can technically keep him as offensive coordinator, but say, hey, you're not calling plays on Sunday now. We're going to have Andrew Janoko do it, or we're going to do it with a collaboration of guys even. But they didn't do it. So I feel like going into next season and doing that, I feel like would be a mistake. But I wouldn't totally be against it. But why didn't you do it now then? If you believe in Janoko, then why didn't we do it now?
Absolutely. I feel you. So I was trying to say it before because I got to respect Swift's time. We got another maybe 10, 15 minutes with him. So I just wanted to cue him up on the time. But he was getting into it, so I sat back and let him do his thing. Because I had a rant yesterday that he jumped in on when I was on BCP, and he was like, love the rant. So I got to let him get his rant on, too. I agree. If you're going to fire somebody, that little 1.5 week gap was a perfect time to do it. So we're going to get into the last few questions I got for him. They're kind of a package deal. He's already answered about, the coaching staff and if he's convinced they can be retained in 2024. So there's been rumors about internal discussions about Jim Harbaugh. So what are your thoughts on Jim Harbaugh being an option? And if not Jim Harbaugh, then who?
Wait, what was the last part of that?
Oh, I'm sorry. If not Jim Harbaugh, then who?
It's tough. I'm trying to wait until the offseason to really dig into who the best coaching fits would be. There's obviously guys off the top of their head, Jim Harbaugh, Ben Johnson, Brian Johnson. There's guys out there. I would want someone who's called plays successfully in the NFL. So Jim Harbaugh does fit that description. He did it with the San Francisco 49ers. I don't know how serious he is at coming to the NFL, and I don't know if the Bears are willing to pay him $100+ million that it's going to cost to bring him in. There's rumors that Michigan's already got a $100 million deal on the table, so we'll see there. That one could be put to bed soon, but I wouldn't be against it. I want someone who's called plays and at least has the personality of a head coach. I don't want someone like a Jim Tressman or even even Eberflus and Nagy, like those guys, they have kind of odd personalities that rub some people wrong. And it's when you watch Eberflus even giving out his ball hawk t-shirts and stuff and talking about the hits principle, it's there's gonna be people out there who just look at that and listen to him and are like, this dude's corny. And that's just how it is. And there are people like that. And I like Eberflus. I think he's a good dude, and I think he really, really wants to win in Chicago and is giving it his all. I think he works harder than anyone other than Ryan Poles in that building. But I don't know. I just want the right head coach in Chicago. I don't head coaches are something that it's hard to really get right. And it's also hard to just, hey, I think this guy could come here and be the head coach. Everyone wants to do that. I remember every time a head coach is fired or something, like there's always rumors. Oh, Bill Cowher, bring him here. Sean Payton, bring him here. If Bill Belichick or Mike Tomlin get fired, bring him here. I just want someone. Every city's different. The Chicago media is different. It rubs on these coaches wrong. You need a coach with a strong personality who's unflappable to do it, because I thought Lovie Smith was that guy, but this media and fan base even got to Lovie Smith, and by the end it was like, man, this is getting tiring. It's the same old stuff over and over, and I just want us to get it right, man. And that's one that Ryan Poles, this is on you, bro. This is the one you need to do. Get the head coaching job right and get us a good play caller.
Absolutely.
Oh, Zach, I didn't say he would leave Michigan to be an OC. Harbaugh would be a head coach, but he has play calling experience, is what I said. That doesn't mean he has to call plays. Jim Harbaugh has more connections than probably any coach in the league. So he has guys that we don't even know he's connected to that he could bring into BOC. So Harbaugh is just a big name with a lot of connections.
Absolutely. Oh, okay.
My bad, Zach.
So, nah, you good. Address the chat. They deserve it. They're in here. You know, my first time going live with my new crew, which I'll be introducing in about 20 minutes once everybody gets here. We're having a little launch party here, you know what I'm saying, behind the scenes or whatever. Micah just came in. He's backstage. We got my nephew, Vic. I used to call him Snoopy as a kid, so I got to give him his grown-up name, Vic, his grown-up nickname. He's doing the production and the backside, doing a wonderful job, so shout out to Vic. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to my wife upstairs cooking us a meal because I'm starving. And after the show, maybe around 7 or 8, if we stay on a little longer, I'm going to go up there and smash down on my victory meal for our first ever live stream. And we got Swift in the building. So we got about maybe 5 to 10 minutes worth of Swift. So I got 2 more things for him that I know he's going to lay some awesome takes on. One, and we'll start with this. Your ideal 2024 draft plan for both top 5 picks.
I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr., no matter what, straight up. And then my dream, I think I've liked the same 2 guys heading into this season as I do now. And that's really rare in college football, because usually in their senior or junior years, the year before they go pro, you see so much fluctuation with where guys are projected before the season and where guys end up after the season. And there are 2 here, and Foster already knows. There's 2 guys I've talked about since before the season started: Jared Verse, the defensive end from Florida State, and Marvin Harrison Jr. And I just think they're so perfect because Poles has already brought in DJ Moore. We have an elite alpha receiver, and he's already brought in Montez Sweat. Those are 2 of his biggest acquisitions, but it's not enough. You need 2 guys on both of those positions on both sides of the ball. And if he can nail both of those in the first round, so you have DJ Moore and Marvin Harrison Jr. on offense who complement each other perfectly, because DJ is the smaller, shiftier, more of a running back type guy, whereas Marvin Harrison's big, long, tall, long arms, possession receiver, but can also stretch the field. And then Verse, he's a monster on defense. You can't double team Jared Verse and Montez Sweat. So I think that would just change the dynamic of our defense. And I would be super excited. But there's other guys at both positions too. You can get Chop Robinson or Liatu Latu at defensive end, or you can get Romo Dunze or Malik Neighbors at wide receiver. So that's what I want, though. Wide receiver, defensive end. Get a center later in the draft as well.
Awesome. So got one last question, but I definitely want to shout out again. Coach T is in the building. He's waiting backstage to be queued up. We got Foster been waiting. He's been tearing up the chat as he always does, always supporting me, Swift, and everybody else that does Bears podcasting. I call him Zaddy Santa because now he's got the white crispy beard you all will see later. Pause, extra pause, triple pause on that Zaddy, but that's what he looks like. You'll see in a second. Anywho,
he really does.
Got Dosa Dion, who also is backstage waiting. He's an amazing Lions podcaster. He's going to come and give us his takes on the Chicago Bears versus the Lions preview later on in the show. But one last question for Swift before he has to go. We want you to stand by your tweet. So we're going to queue up a tweet that we think was extra fire. We're going to do this on every episode when we have a guest and let you have the floor yourself to elaborate and break it down for us. So let's go ahead and queue that up. I'll get the cameras ready. You get the tweet ready. So if the Chicago Bears do fire Matt Eberflus, this team is the most attractive head coaching job by far. Young roster with talent at premium positions, as well as flexibility in having 2 top picks in the draft and loads of cap space. Talk about it.
I think this one's a no-brainer. The only team that people have argued this point on me with is the Los Angeles Chargers. They'll say, well, the Chargers are more attractive because Justin Herbert is a more established quarterback right now, and he's a bigger name. But I fire back at that. There's a couple things that are wrong with that as far as the Chargers go. They don't have the flexibility. If you're taking that head coaching job of the Chargers, you're stuck with what they have. They got Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa on defense. Those guys are paid. Those guys are making tons of money and ruin your flexibility. Herbert is paid. They don't have extra first-round picks going forward. Keenan Allen is old. The roster isn't as young and upcoming. And when you talk about fan bases, this isn't a question. Like, do the Chargers even have a huge fan base? I don't know. They've moved cities. It's in LA, so it's prime, but they're not even the main team in LA. Whereas the Chicago Bears are one of the most prestigious jobs in the NFL. And everyone knows if you come to Chicago and you win, you're a legend, and you'll be a legend in this city for life. So to me, it's a no-brainer. On top of all the flexibility, cap space, draft picks, young players at almost every position on the roster. Not enough, but we have the draft picks, the draft capital, and cap space going forward that whoever coaches this team, they're going to have their choice. Do you want Justin Fields? It's up to you. You got this young, talented stud quarterback, or we got 2 possibly top 5 picks, and you can get a Caleb Williams or a J.J. McCarthy or a Drake May or a Jaden Daniels, or you can bring in Marvin Harrison. So this is a dream job, I think, if we fire Eberflus.
Absolutely. Well said, bro. Well, I'm leaving you about 5 minutes of your time so I can go ahead and queue up the next set. But go ahead and let the folks know where they can find you, your YouTube, your wonderful breakdowns, and your Twitter so they can ask you about your takes.
Yep. Find me on Swift Sports Network. Most of you guys in the chat, I know you already. I got a video debuting over there, so I got to bounce. I will be back when that ends. I'll be in the chat, see if you guys are still going, and I'll bring my chat back with me as well. Vil, have a great show, man. Thank you so much for having me on. And to everyone in the chat, bear down and just know that I still think this team's heading in the right direction. There's a lot wrong right now, but having those picks, all that flexibility, we're 90+% guaranteed to get the number 1 pick. The Panthers can win 2 games, and we'd still have at least pick number 2. So things are looking great right now. I'm excited.
Absolutely. Give me your best bear down, like at the end of your show.
Okay. All right, guys. Until next time, bear down.
Hell yeah. Love that part of your show. All right. So we got our second half coming up, which will also have our Chicago Bears ticket giveaway. Let's go ahead and queue up those seats again for those that have maybe joined us a little bit later. Queue up the video. I hope y'all like that view. That is section 149, believe row, what is that? 11, 7 to 8. Seats 7 to 8. Oh, it is. Micah is I'll be introducing him a little bit later. He's queuing me up because he is the provider of the tickets. He's a season ticket holder. I'm excited about these tickets. And he was like, bro, I'm going to give you these tickets to bless your first live stream. Let's go. Let's get it started. Come out throwing a haymaker. Get these subscribers and followers excited because we're going to be doing giveaways probably once or twice every 2 weeks, maybe extended once y'all started hitting our pockets to maybe once a month, once a quarter or something like that, because these tickets get hella expensive. And he's sacrificing probably what, Micah, $200-$300 each for these tickets. I remember we were at the Las Vegas Raiders tailgate and people was chirping trying to get those tickets while we was at the game. And man, so I feel blessed to have guys like Micah on my side. He's driven all the way from Madison, Wisconsin. He's a Chicagoan, but just recently moved up there, but is planning to move back to Chicago, but drove all the way back down here for the show. I'll be introducing him a little bit later. Once we get the rest of our crew in, some are in traffic. I wanted some to come here so you all can see them on camera. I sent them links just in case they can't make it, but we'll shortly have them on soon. We have Coach T from Chicago Bears 360. We're going to go ahead and bring him on from backstage. Hopefully he's ready. Looks like he gave us the thumbs up. What up, Coach T?
What up, fella? Can you? Hopefully y'all can hear me fine. What up, Bill? What's going on? Octavius Vernell Brown, aka OB for short. Let's get to it.
Okay, so let me explain who OV is. So Octavius Vernell Brown is a character that I created. Some of you all have been following me for a while, and my videos have him, especially in our introduction. He is a character that I'm creating. I got a guy, Matt McCarran, who did our theme music. He's going to create the character so that he can join me on the show. So I'm trying to take this production up as best as possible. I know it's probably a little choppy this week. Is the first time we trying to get things together. My nephew just agreed to do the production and just learn StreamYard background in like an hour.
Hey, doing a fabulous job, man.
Man, he's
doing
killing
a fabulous job, man.
So OV is that voice that you all hear when he says reporting live because people jump on and like, hey, OV. I'm like, that's not me. Like, I hope I don't sound like that. But if I do, I'm me. I am Vil. OV is Octavius Vernell Brown. Soon you will see an actual version of him. Big ups to Coach T for joining me. Another guy that has been in my ear since I first started, telling me, bro, just keep going. Always been there, has acted like a brother and is a brother. Came up and joined me. He came up for a wedding, and we went and watched the game at a bar where I live. I'm not giving y'all the loc right now because I don't want y'all, when I give a bad take, to try to find me. But he joined me at a bar and was talking. It was in my ear heavy, like, bro, get back to it. Let's get it cracking. come join me on my show, get your feet back wet. This was back October, November last year or something like that during that Miami Dolphins game.
Yep.
Yep. So Big Bro been that's why I call him Big Bro. He always be like, man, dog, you ain't that much younger than me.
It's all good, man.
But I appreciate him joining us. I just wanted to bring him on real quick. So we're gonna introduce the next guy. He's a Bears guy. He's from Bears Country Podcast. It's my road dog. It's Zaddy Santa. Extra pause with an extra piece of cheese on that. Foster, let's bring him on.
There you go.
He's on,
Foster,
on mute.
Your mic on mute, by the way.
Foster, you on mute, my guy.
What?
There he is. He got it. It's all. Let Foster get it. He can get it.
I got it.
They fight. They fight.
You got it. I got it. You got it. I got it. You got it.
So long ago.
Yeah, Foster. I think both of y'all was fighting each other. So, shout out to Foster for joining us. We was up till midnight last night. Y'all probably was on a little later at BCP. I had joined them at 8:15. Them boys was gonna have me on like we was on the draft special a few months back. They had me on for 7 hours that night, and I was falling asleep on the show. Just like last night, had my wife knocking on the floor. Do. Come on, get to bed, eat them tacos that I cooked for you. They was extra fire. Like I said, man, like I told you last night, man, I had to go eat. And I had the itis and I knocked out right after that. But I enjoyed being on the show with y'all, Foster. Foster, tell everybody where they can find you.
I'm on Bears Country Podcast, actually Bears Country Productions. I'm on Bears Country Podcast. That's one of our shows. We've got like 4 of them and another couple more in the works. Got a new show coming out Tuesday. We'll be doing Sunday nights post game show. This will be the second edition of that. That's Walt and I, Walt the producer. Man, we just talk. If you got to go from our show, you better just go, because there's nights we've sat there for 7-8 hours just talking Bears and then bullshit, because we're just regular Bears fans, man. Getting the lowdown, getting information, distributed to the people, getting corrected when we're wrong, man. It's all good. Everybody's got an opinion. We allow everybody to have their opinion, and we don't jump on each other for our opinions. We just maybe try and force people to see our view, and if it don't work, oh well. Not right all the time, man. Good to see you, Coach T.
Hey, what's going on, Foster, man? Great to see you as well.
Absolutely. We got the comment live and direct from the North Pole, San Jose. I think I teased Coach T last year when he said he was in Zaddy mode on one of his shows. So now he can get me back to using the term. Now he got it stuck in my brain. I was like, hey, extra pause, Coach.
Yeah, right. What are we doing here?
What do you mean by that? But I appreciate you two gentlemen. But with no further delay, I want to bring my guy on, Dose of Dion, to join us. This man has an amazing Detroit Lions show. The guy sounds like he should be on ESPN, have his own network or something like that. The guy's delivery is extra crisp. He's on point, never wrong with his stats.
We got smoke for him this week, don't we?
Huh?
We got smoke for him this week, don't we?
We got extra smoke. We outnumber him. But let me tell you, this man can never be outnumbered. He can never be cornered. Trust me, once we get into this game, y'all gonna see what I'm talking about. But what's up, Dose of Dion 2.0? Let us know.
Phil,
let chat know where they can find you.
Hey, man. Well, first off, you can find me, Dose of Dion 2.0. First off, nice to meet you guys. Foster, Coach T, Bill. It's great to be here. Hey, a couple things real quick. I got to just hit on this. First off, you need to invite me over for some food, man. Because you jump into the shows, you're talking about tacos. Every time I go to the shows, you're talking about food. I haven't had the invite yet. Okay, I get you don't want to give the locale out on here, but you can message me. Also, stay away from Jim Harbaugh. I just got to throw that out there. Okay, I don't know. I heard the chatter. Just stay away from that guy. All right, leave him where he is. He's good at Michigan. But no, man. Thanks for having me. And it's good to see the Bears fans here, man. I appreciate y'all, because when we did the pregame show on my channel, they were showing a lot of love, so that was awesome.
Hey, check this out. I got the plug though. I ain't even got to ask. I ain't gotta ask Bill.
I was just about to say.
I ain't even gotta ask Bill. I can go straight to TJ and be like, "Hey, TJ, I'm in town." You know what I'm saying?
I knew
Hey,
that's where you were going.
yeah, I got the plug. I can go directly to the source. Shout out to TJ, my sister out there. Yeah, that's what's up.
So
okay,
this wonderful picture, this wonderful lady right here, I want to shout out real quick and give her a thank you, because without her, I would not be here in this position, in this place, in this corner of our office, basement, whatever you want to call it. Being able to do what I do, being able to buy all this Five Below shit to post on the wall, where she wanted to do 50 million other things down here and remodel, but she's like, that's your space. I got a space. I got me a little man area to do my thing. And Coach T know how she is. She's an extra blessing, just like I know his wife is. That's my sis too.
Sir.
We got to get up again next time we come down to Atlanta, next time you in Chicago. But Coach, I'm not sure if I asked you where they can find you. Let me make sure I did that.
Oh, of course, man. Y'all know y'all can find me on Twitter at Bears360_Coach T. And of course on YouTube, you know what I'm saying, on Chicago Bears 360, man. I'm doing the show Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night, and then Sunday mornings. You know what I'm saying? It's 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. And then our Wednesday show specifically is our film breakdown shows, our all 22, you know what I'm saying, on Wednesday. Man, that's our bag right there. That's what we get into over there.
For sure. I appreciate it. I just wanted to make sure I show love to everybody, because y'all show me love all the time. I was on one show with Dosa Dion at Round Table. Make sure y'all go check them out, because they help us pay our bills. That is the first show that has offered to pay me steadily to be on their show when I substitute as a guest. And shout out to Chicago Nick, who offered us a video submission because he wasn't able to be on the show today. He is from Just Another Year Chicago. We'll cue up that video before we present the winner of the Chicago Bears tickets. But we go on that show, me and Dosa Dion, and it's a roundtable of the NFC North. We got Basarowski as well as One Bar. One Bar is Minnesota Vikings Skull. Basarowski is Green Bay Packers, obviously. Go Pack Go. I'll never say that again in my life, but I just wanted to show them.
With you.
I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah, right. I just got to make sure I shout out everybody that has supported me, because that's Bill. That's what I do. I'm an avid supporter of everyone, just like you guys are. So shout out to those guys. Shout out to Roundtable Sports for letting us rock out every Wednesday at 5:15 on their show to talk shit and debate and trash talk the other NFC North. Shout out to Dosa Dion. Matter of fact, like we do on that show, sorry TD fans, you know, I'm gonna steal a little bit from you. All the way from the top of the NFC North division, how do you feel being on the top of the division, Dosa Dion?
It's weird. I'll be honest. It's weird, man. It's, you know what? I kind of like had a thing, you know, because we've struggled for a while, and for me, I kind of had to like, okay, just enjoy each game. You know, it's like hard to say it in the moment, but at the same time, it's like, you just got to enjoy the year because it's so short. Like, that's one thing I think all NFL fans can relate to. Even if you're a playoff team, the season goes by way too darn fast. So for me, it's been that, but now it's kind of weird. So I'm still trying to like not look ahead and get hyped like, oh man, we're about to win this division. I'm trying not to look at it like that. We still have to finish business, handle business to get there. But at the same time, it's just really cool when you watch other primetime games. And y'all know when they throw that playoff picture on the screen, and when you're not in the hunt, but you're on the left side of the screen, it feels so great. And that's something that I don't know if I've ever seen it before, to be honest. I don't know. So it's really weird, but it's also amazing, man. It's just, I don't know. It's just different. It's like a weird kind of expectation. You kind of got to balance it, like expecting to win because now you're like, you're doing actually pretty well, but at the same time, just enjoying it as it goes, man. Taking it one at a time. That's what I try to focus on.
All right. Awesome. Appreciate it. Just wanted to get you your respect. Yeah, I can't believe I said it either. My bad. I'm sorry, Jason, but it just had to be said. I have to shout at everybody their hashtags and things of that nature. That's kind of what we do on that show as well. So they help pay my bills. They help me take my wife out on dates. They help me buy these damn Christmas presents for the goddamn kids. So I had to shout everybody out and give them their respect. So let's bring everybody back. So I got some questions for you guys, just like I did Swift, and I appreciate you guys for joining me in this second half. Y'all gonna stay on with us until we present the winner for these tickets. You guys, right? Drum roll, please. I don't have the sound effects just yet. We're gonna get that going in the next month. Everybody,
you got time. You got time, man.
It's gonna be real crisp. Right. All right. So, favorite game day food. Let's start with Coach T.
Oh, you already know, man. It's wings, bro. It's wings. What are we talking about here? Like, is there another game day food? It's the wings. And I'll go even deeper because guess what? This is what we do on Chicago Bears 360. We knock down the details, right? We just don't call out wings, right? We break down the film, and I'm telling you, all drums. That's right. I'm a drums dude. Yeah, we gotta get the wings and the salad and the drums, bro. I'll knock out some flats too, but definitely
if they on the plate, they get 8.
Hey, that's right. I just pushed the flats to later. They gonna get 8 too, but we gonna start with them drums.
I feel you. All right, other gentlemen, let's go with Foster. What's the eats?
I love the drums, but for me, see, man, decades of watching this Bears team, you've got to have something else to do. I lived through the 1-13s and the 4-10s, man. Decades of it. Seen every team go from bad to good when it was the Vikings on top, and then the Lions were always in there in the middle, but never could get over the hump. And then the damn Packers took over after the 80s when the Bears had it. So a big one of mine is steak tacos, man. I like doing steak tacos. You could do them with chicken. You know, there's so many ways to make tacos, but that's one of my biggies. Is steak tacos or a nice garbage pizza loaded with a bunch of crap.
I hear you.
Good
you
stuff.
might have just made a best friend out of my wife because she's a taco. Like I said last night, you heard me in the show. She was calling from upstairs, like, come and get these. I think we had turkey tacos. You know, we trying to be a little bit healthier, especially after my situation last year. But she seasoned that stuff like soul food, so we be smashing regardless. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, if that's healthier meat, but even more seasoning, because I gotta have the seasoning. So you know how that go. Dose of Dion, what do you smash down on?
I want to add this real quick too, man. It's awesome, and I want to just say, you did marry way up, dude.
Oh,
it's all in fun, man.
Up.
I love you, dude.
Hey, he's been
around since day one too. So don't
hey, Bill, don't feel bad, man. We all outkicked our coverage. You know what I'm saying? I'll kick my coverage too, bro.
No problem. I ain't got no problem with people talking that shit to me. I know my wife is beautiful.
Yes, sir.
A director at her company. She works 10 minutes away down, and I'm not gonna give y'all our location again. She's works at home. She still handles the business with the kids. I don't really have to do much, even though she works constantly. She just left out of the office before we got on the show, on a call, sending out invites, planning conferences and all type of stuff, and tipped out and was like, can I bring you some water? Yeah. I am blessed. I am extremely blessed because I wouldn't be able to do this without her.
We got to get the ladies together, man.
Oh, got to. Absolutely. So, Dose of Dion, go ahead and give us your food of choice.
Nah, so that's I'm kind of weird, right? I can't eat during the game. I don't know if it's something like wrong with I can't eat during the game. I hate eating during the game. I just like have to block myself out. That's like the day I don't eat until it's nighttime. But I will say when the food's brought over, see, I'm not preparing the food, okay? When the food's brought over, last week we had tacos and that was top tier. So I'm glad y'all said that because last week I was like, this is the top right here having tacos. So I'm with you, Foster, on that one. Tacos would be my choice.
Yeah, for sure. I got one more for y'all. Let's be quick with this one so we can get into this Chicago Bears. I got a few questions for you all, but Chicago Bears versus Detroit Lions preview. That's why we have Dose of Dion on. We got a few questions for the Bears, but you can always join in Dose of Dion to give your opinion on whoever we're talking about, the team itself and things of that nature. So one more question real quick. It just popped up because I love my liquors. So, light or dark liquor, if you drink. If you don't drink, I understand. Just say water or whatever your preference is. Light or dark liquor, what's your get it going, get me cracking? This is what I need after a long day drink.
And you asking me
first?
Hey,
let's start with Dion this time.
We'll start with Foster then.
Yeah, go with Foster. I don't have a good answer.
I know Foster is a health guy. I know he likes the water, so I know he's going that direction.
No, I gotta answer the question here, man.
Oh, go ahead.
When I did drink, I was like an alcoholic whore, man. Anything that's good, light or dark. It was usually a type of rum with some Coke,
right,
or whiskey, man. I was a Jack Daniels guy, but light or dark rum, I would drink either one of those with anything, man. It goes down good with the right meal, especially.
For sure.
So especially if you're buying it, Bill.
$3.99. $3.99.
I don't have to go and buy. We keep the liquor on deck, and then whenever Micah come over, he always bring an extra big bottle of liquor every time, and then leaves it. So he makes me the alcoholic. So which one of those gets you sicker if you do too much, Foster?
Oh yeah.
Which one gets you sicker faster?
Anything dark or have anything dark. The darker stuff usually does, man.
Factos. Coach, go ahead and tell us which one, light or dark, and which one gets you sicker.
You know what I'm saying? As a young Marine, man, I would say the answer to this question was yes. Unequivocally, yes. It didn't matter. It was dark, light. You know what I'm saying? It didn't matter. And that's probably why the real answer to this question is I can't drink anymore because my kidneys are shot. But back in the day, you know what I'm saying? It depends on what I was trying to do. And I think this is a popular sentiment, right? If you're trying to turn up, you go with the white women. You know what I'm saying? You go with the light liquor. If you trying to mellow it out and you trying to smooth it out, you go, you know what I'm saying? You gotta get a little Hennessy, throw on a little old school and make it happy. You know what I'm saying? See, check this out. We got bad wives, Ville. Ain't no secret how we got them. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, hey man, you know, slide over here. Let me get this dark liquor.
There you go. Yeah,
a little Kim on the radio. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Little 90s R&B. You know how we do it.
Hey, we gonna go ahead. We just got a blessing in the chat. It looks like Mr. TMZ is in the building. Hold on. Let me bring him on and let me find this picture real quick. Hey, go ahead, producer. Bring on Ill Will. It looked like he's ready to go.
What's cracking, fellas?
We here. We in the building.
Yes, sir.
Hey, he got to take it. You got to take his tag down.
Oh, okay. Oh, let me get that down real quick. But this picture right here, I want to go ahead and shout out Ill Will. He been doing this thing. You know, I'll be sneaking up on y'all stuff all the time. Like I love seeing y'all expand y'all brands and do y'all thing. Will, my mama texted me when I sent her the promo yesterday and said, "Ma, be on the show. Watch the show." She was like, "Yeah, baby, I'm gonna be there." I said, "Check this out. I got Ill Will. You know, he be on TMZ. She loves those shows, those segments. She be on YouTube all the time because she ain't got nothing to do but sit on the tablet. She don't work no more." So I sent her this very picture, just a picture. Oh, I know him. I see him on there all the time. I'm like, man, I am super blessed to be able to have this lineup that we have currently right now, and then to have Ill Will join us. He's all the way out in Cali, so let me go ahead and remove this, and you tell us, Ill Will, where can we find you?
You can find me at 3 Kings of the Midway podcast. It's on all Apple Podcasts, Spotify and all that. And soon we'll be on YouTube like you guys, you know, get that YouTube money.
Hey man, I'm learning everything. All of y'all from the beginning. Let me tell y'all about Will. Will is another one of those guys. When I first got on Twitter, I would be under his tweets, you know what I'm saying, trying to get his attention, pause, and like, hey bro, you know what I'm saying, interact with me. I was like that with Coach T. I was like that with several other guys like Swift, just like man, Joe, I enjoy what you do. You know what I'm saying? Trying to talk back and forth. Coach told me I should have started the show before I even started the show because the way I moderated Twitter. Like I would be on my post, like bringing people in and saying, "Hey, Coach, what do you think about this? Hey, Will, what do you think about this post?" And they'll come in and they bring their thing, they bring their opinion on us, and then I'll piggyback off that, and we'll have a whole 5-day worth of thread going on viral because they joined and bless the.
Let's call it what it was, man. You was instigating. Let's call it what it was.
Yeah, it was a little.
He was instigating fights, man. I was just messing with you. I just
That's
messing with
that's why you want me. That's why you want me to be here. I get it going.
He get it cracking.
I get it cracking. So, all right, we got everybody in here for this next hour or more. You know, depending on when the fellas got to go. So we're gonna go ahead and try to get into some of these things right now. I got Micah in the building. My nephew Juju just popped in. So I think what I want to do right now, before we jump into this, I want to introduce my 3 newest guys, nephews, friend that will be joining us on 3 Point Stands podcast. Y'all can come up. I got 2 chairs right here. Come on and jump in. So we won't have to add no more cameras. I ain't balling like the rest of these guys. I'm not adding 10 to 20 mics like Coach T. Or cameras like Coach T got, where he can have everybody and anybody on there. So y'all come ahead and sit right here around your uncle, and we gonna get it cracking. It's a family affair over here. I love my nephew. Let me get my producer in here real quick. Step around real quick so y'all can say hey real quick.
Shout out to the game. What up? There you go.
Just the gang. This is on this side. We got Juju.
How y'all doing? Thanks for having me.
Recent college graduate. I don't know where that came from, but the producer doing this thing. We got the little sparkles and shit, like little snack cakes, little glitter. We got Vic over here, my other nephew. Hopefully his mama is watching. I told her I got a surprise. I'm pulling him out the house, and he's gonna be the new producer for our show. And then we got Michael, who's been A1 day one. He's got his new business. You want to shout that out? He's got a black car service in Chicago, between Chicago and Madison, actually. Go ahead, shout that out.
Hey, I appreciate it. We it's called True Blue Black Car Service. We do parties, Christmas, New Year's, birthdays, concerts, whatever you need, call me. The number is 773-256-7820. You can reach me out on Twitter, on Instagram, So Icy Sigma. Send me a message. I set you up. I get you right.
For sure. So real quick, I want them to be able to get some read-offs, get some little attention real quick. We got 3 facts or 3 news pieces that came through this week for the Chicago Bears. I'm going to pull them up. Y'all can read them from your phones. Y'all can read them from here. Nephew, can you go ahead and drop Juju's intro read, please? All right, so what we got on Cairo Santos?
You gonna pull that up?
Let me have this banner. My bad. Learning all these things as we go.
That's cool. I got it right here. All right. So just to bring a little bit to you about Cairo Santos, he was actually named NFC Special Teams Player of the Month. Shocking. I know I was shocked when I heard this one. The Bears kicker made 12 of 14 field goals and 5 of 5 extra points in the month of November, including 3 of the field goals from at least 50 yards out. He recently helped the Bears beat the Vikings off of one of these. His leg proved to be scoring for the Bears with 4 field goals. And I know me and other Bears fans, since the double doink, that's probably some of the best news we've had.
Right.
So, chat, I want y'all to talk about Cairo Santos. I'm trying to pronounce his right, trying to get this stuff going. We had a great kicker in Robbie Gould for years, and I know all of us have seen him go to San Francisco. They're winning games, so kudos to Robbie Gould. He just recently retired. Nephew, do you feel like Cairo Santos is the kicker to take that and keep it running and retire a Bear?
Definitely, I think with the experience, he can become a staple kicker on the Bears roster. I think the reason why us Chicago fans love Robbie Gould so much and wanted to keep him is because we saw him develop. We saw him in them early days, missing him, breaking our hearts, but then he stepped his game up. I'm not a kicker, so I can't really give you much about what going into kicking, but on the football field, a lot of these positions all come the same. You put a player in that position, you let him get that experience, you let him get that confidence. And majority of the time, a lot of these dudes, they're not there for no reason. It's big lights, it's a lot of pressure, but I feel like if you put faith in him, I definitely think he can be a keeper for us.
Yeah, he's been extremely accurate in my opinion. What do you fellas think? Anybody just
Man, with the so I went out to I spent a couple days in Indy with Swifty, and he in the off season, Cairo Santos got a brand new working and conditioning program, a strengthening program, and he was kicking them out there in Indy, and they would have been good from 64, 65 yards at that time. Even if you look at that 55-yarder, he could have probably made that from 58, 59 yards. So whatever he's done in this offseason, it's a vast improvement. Look at the accuracy, man. Look at the accuracy. He's been pretty solid all season. It's got to be in the top 8 or 9 of kickers this year, I think, percentage-wise. Not sure, double check that, but whatever he did in the offseason, who he's working out with, just from the visual view, it's an improvement, man. You know, look at last year. We got to go kick a 50, 49, 48-yarder, and he's like shaking his head no, because he's not going to make it in the conditions. And then another year in Soldier Field, because if you remember, Robbie had to learn the conditions too. He went through it. It's something you got to deal with. If you're going to kick in Chicago, you got to deal with the conditions and to be able to adapt to it. Well, what we're going to see real soon, because we got these last few games coming up here, where even Sunday we might have some adverse conditions that we'll have to deal with. So this will hopefully prove that he is the man for the future. And if he has a solid season the rest of the way, I'd say maybe think about maybe making sure that he's around. We don't want to lose another kicker, because you guys, as you guys mentioned, look what we've gone through since Gold left. It's just been one of those open and closing doors, man. Merry-go-round.
For sure. So Dose of Dion, not to leave you out, but just to talk some trash a little bit, you're gonna have to worry about Cairo Santos for the foreseeable future. It's like, so watch out for those 1 point, 2 point games that he could go ahead and crash out and kick a game-winning field goal. I got another read. We were hopefully trying to have Colleen Carmody, who's avid Twitter Bears person. She's in there. Come on, let's bring her on. I know she had to hit traffic, so let me remove this real quick. There we go. We got Colleen Carmody. She is and will be an additional contributor to 3 Point Stands podcast. I know she had to fight traffic to get home, so we are blessed to have her on. So I want her to be able to give her read. We're going to bring that up again.
Missed 1,000 yards there.
Yeah. We got another 1,000-yard receiver in the crew with the Bears fam, and he did it in just 12 games this year, and he's on pace to break his career high of 1193. I think he can get 1,300, in my opinion. And he just needs to average 38 yards in the next 5 games to match it, which I don't see a problem.
All right. So do you think, Colleen, this is the best wide receiver that we've had since, go with Brandon Marshall?
I mean, I think he is up there with Brandon and Alshon, 100%. Better than A-Rob, for sure.
All right. So it sounds like you appreciated the trade. You think Ryan Poles did this thing by putting him on the Chicago Bears and helping Justin Fields. I know for sure you love the pick. I remember your tweets as the trade went down, as well as recently, as soon as I sent you that read and I said, hey, who wants to talk about DJ Moore? The DM lit up. She was like, game time, DJ Moore, let's go. So I'm pretty happy myself. Will, let us know what you think about the addition that DJ Moore, what the addition of DJ Moore has provided for the Chicago Bears offense.
It gave them a bona fide number one wide receiver, right? And that's something that we needed. It was debates like with Mooney. Like, I think Mooney is a good wide receiver, but I think he's more like a wide receiver 3. And you needed that one, that dog that can always get open. They can always make catches, contested catches. They can catch screens. They can just take it to the house off any play. And that's DJ Moore, man. And a lot of people kind of slept on him because he was playing in Carolina with all those bad quarterbacks. And then he get him a decent quarterback. And now look at it. You know, he has 1,000 yards. He might get 1,400, 1,500. Who knows over these last like 5 games? Because he's like, I think Justin Fields, like his passer rating when throwing to DJ Moore is like over 150. It's insane, right?
Yeah.
So that's how good this guy is. I mean, you throw him the ball, he's going to catch it, and he's going to make plays when he has the ball in his hands, man. I wish we could have like 3 more DJ Moores on the offense.
I know that's right. All right, so we got one more. We got Micah on deck. You ready with your
contribution? So we got Justin Jones, who potentially could be in the likes of Dak Prescott, JJ Watt. He's been nominated for the Walter Payton Man of the Year, such a Christine Award. Hopefully he gets it. Another Chicago man that can get recognized for something great. So I'm happy to hear about it. I'm happy that his name is there. Hopefully he comes through and he pulls it out at the end of the year.
For sure. He's been a little quiet in the beginning of the year, but he's pretty stout. I like Billings a lot more, to be honest, but I know he's a good dude. 27 Savage on Twitter. He called out the Green Bay Packers, which was my favorite thing, when he was talking stuff about their football knowledge. You know, he's come on a lot lately. In the beginning of the year, we was like, hey, what's up with that, dog? How you going to talk shit and then not produce? Like, you making us look bad to Packers fans. But he stepped up. He is a great guy. I'm loving what he's providing the defensive line with experience and helping out the young guys learn and cultivate themselves. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into some of these questions for the actual panel that we have to give you guys their expertise on Chicago Bears right now. I know you're ready, Coach. So since you rub your hands like that, like
hey, man. It's actually cold down here.
Right. All right, Coach, we're gonna start with you then.
Let's go.
What's your thoughts on these Eric Bieniemy rumors, Coach?
Wow. Yeah, man. Shoot. You know, here's the thing, man. I hear a lot of people saying, you know, actually one of my co-hosts on Barroom Network, he's saying he's not a fan of Eric Bieniemy potentially coming to Chicago because we don't want another Kansas City product in Chicago, right? But here's the thing with offensive coordinators. Now, it depends on what are we talking about, Eric as a head coach or offensive coordinator. That's the other hack, right? It depends on where we're going with this, right? Because here's the thing. He may be part of a offensive a Washington coaching staff that all will be let go. And so do you get the jump from fired OC to head coach, or do you come and be part of Eberflus staff as an offensive coordinator? So let me address that part of it first. If he's an offensive coordinator. If he's an offensive coordinator, I'm kind of mad on the situation, man, because here's the thing, man. You know, for me, everything is about styles. It's about fits, right? Does the style fit what we need the personnel we have in Chicago? Is it gonna mainly the quarterback, right? It's gonna be another situation where we're trying to force the quarterback, Justin Fields, into a certain style of play. Like, is it a good fit? You know what I'm saying, for what we try to do. The second part of that is, you know, I'm just not as excited about it. The reason why is because I know if Harbaugh comes, and I'm not totally out on Eberflus yet. I'm probably one of the rare few people. But if Harbaugh comes, I know that the style of play for Chicago, the city, and the quarterback will be conducive to the personnel that we have, right? We're going to play a little bit more bully ball with Harbaugh. It's going to be a lot of, you know, power football, powers, counters. You know what I'm saying? He's going to get tackles and guards pulling. It's probably going to resemble more the closer thing to a Kyle Shanahan style offense than we have right now because we were sold a bill of goods when we got your boy Luke Getsy. Get your I can't wait till you get fired so we can say Getsy your ass out of town. Anyway, but yeah, that's how I feel. I mean, I'm just kind of mad on Eric Bieniemy, man. I'm not crazy about, you know what I'm saying? It's just I'm just not there yet.
For sure. I'm gonna switch this over to Dose of Dion. He's been shaking his head down there. What are your thoughts on a possibility of a combo of the Chicago Bears offense with Eric Bieniemy?
Well, the reason I was shaking my head, and I'll touch on that here in a sec. The reason I was shaking my head is because, like I said, y'all need to stay away from Harbaugh. All right, I don't want to have to deal with that as a Lions fan. I don't want him leaving Michigan, so we can just talk about Eric Bieniemy. I'm cool with that. I'll say this: I remember when we were talking about Bieniemy as an option too, when we were going through the coaching search, and I had questions. But I will say this, based on I think what we've seen this past year with Washington, I think there was a great point just made there by Coach T. I think the fit when you talk about the personnel you have. Harbaugh is he's going to love that. What he did with Colin Kaepernick, the movement that you're going to have out of the quarterback position, he's going to make that thing take off. But Eric Bieniemy, I will give him credit to this. He's done a really nice job with Washington this year. And there's games that you'll look at, and for a while there, Sam Howell's leading the league in passing yards. And you see them, they have a really good plan. I think they have talent, but I think it can also be overstated. When people point out the receiving core they have, they make it sound like that team is loaded. I don't think it's there. I think they have high draft picks that a lot of them haven't panned out, and their offensive line's pretty shaky. He's done a really nice job with a young Sam Howell to take over, put up the production that he's put up. I think Eric Bieniemy's done a really good job. We're just talking the offensive side, but I don't know how it would fit as a head coach. Just stay away from Harbaugh. If you want to go get Bieniemy, go for it. Just stay away from Harbaugh. That's what I got.
I hear you.
Anything that sabotages our future for Dose of Dion, that's basically what he's going to say.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So appreciate that, Dose. All right. Let me see who I want to ask this question to because I'm tired of saying Luke Getsy. Just like last night, Foster, we were saying the N-word.
Yeah.
Nagy, not that other N-word on BCP.
Oh man! I was going, where's this going?
I was like, wow.
What are we doing? What are we doing here, Bill?
Controversial.
You know how I like to set it up, Coach. That N-word, that match. I don't like saying that. Just like hopefully once Luke Getsy is gone, then it's just Luke. Thank God he's gone. So let's talk to Colleen. Do you think there's anything that he can do to retain his job in 2024?
For Getsy?
Yes.
No. Him and his 9,000 screens can be on the first plane out of Chicago come January 1. Like, I've never seen a coordinator throw that many screens consecutively the way that Getsy does. Yeah. And then you have so many defensive players on other teams going, well, we already knew what was coming. Well, yeah, because he threw 4 screens prior to that. Like, stop the screen.
Hey, man, he like his screens just like front porches.
Like, this ain't a back patio. Like, we don't like the screen. Like, stop it.
Same wavelength, same vibe.
Stop it. Like, if you're 4th and 1, there should be no screen, period.
Yeah, well, that says it all. That was the rant that we needed right there to set this up. So, anybody, let me see. Let me go to Foster. It's been a minute. If the offense improves at all, if they go on a run, if we get a couple more of those 4-touchdown games from Justin Fields, can that convince you, Foster, that we should retain Luke Getsy? And chat, y'all can answer it too.
But the thing is, I don't matter. I'm just a fan, man. The deal here is because we haven't had any cohesion, can't even say the damn word. There hasn't been cohesion, and we just keep turning things over every 3 or 4 years. So it could easily be that if he shows enough, Poles is going to make a statement to the effect of we're going to run it back another year with Flus, see if we can get this thing turned around in a proper way, because he's a not a proven head coach, And everybody's young and learning together, as is the rest of his team that he's building. So there's scenarios in my mind where he could be retained. I don't know if I'm in or out on him. I got to see what happens over these next 5 games, man, because they didn't can him in the middle of the season. They could have done it in the bye week, even coming off a win or whatever. They could have done it any time this year. And we know the Bears don't do that. They don't they don't let anybody go. They're not going to pay somebody to not be here during the season. So I gotta see the next 5 games, man. Progressing through the season. That those first 4 games were just so disappointing. So disappointing. So I've got other guys. I've got guys in mind. We just talked about a couple of them for head coaching too, but I got to see more, man. I know Coach T probably has something similar off of that too, because he had mentioned a little bit. Not off the Flus bandwagon yet. And there's times I was, and now I'm going, man, I got to just look at everything, take the blinders off and look at everything from every angle to get the true perspective. So there's a scenario where he could still be here, and it wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Well said, Coach.
Yeah.
Coach?
Yeah.
You already know I got the smoke for Luke Getson, man.
That's why
All day. All you got to do is tune in any show for the last 2 years, and you know what it is. And it's just not me talking. It's just not conjecture. It's actually me showing you just how crazy it is, what he's doing from a play calling standpoint, from his concept standpoint, really setting Justin up for failure. There's no alignment and agreement between the routes. And Vil gonna know where I'm going with this right here, especially with Ill Will, especially right when you're having route concepts. The route concepts have to agree with each other. Meaning, if I'm reading left to right, my eyes can't be all over the place on the field. It's just so amateur the job he's doing. That in Chicago, that it's crazy, man. From just the picking of run versus pass, the run pass ratio versus the Minnesota Vikings. Justin had 12 carries. Our running backs had 16. Like, what are we doing, bro? And I'm not even going to talk about screen gate. You know what I'm saying? Yesterday irked me probably the most watching the press conference because, you know what I'm saying, I felt like Luke threw Justin under the bus in the press conference because he claimed to the media room that, you know what I'm saying, the screens were RPO-ish, right? And I did a whole show about what an RPO is. And after watching that presser yesterday, I text about 5 of my coach friends and said, dude, I know I've been away from the sideline for a little bit. Have we redefined what an RPO is? Because an RPO is not a run, check, pass in any definition that I'm experienced to. RPO is a dynamic play call where after you snap the ball, you stick the ball in the belly and you have wide receivers going on routes simultaneously, and they pick whether they're going to hand the ball or throw the ball dynamically. So if he's calling that an RPO, it's another indictment on him as a coach if he's calling that as RPO. And then he goes on to speak incoherently about when not really answering the question about, that was, some of those were on Justin. He could have not, thrown so many of them. Then he talked about the run game, and then he talked about the blocking, and then he talked about, we would have had so many more opportunities if Justin it didn't have the 2 turnovers. And I'm a Justin apologist. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't make any apologies for that. But at the same time, as a former play caller, you have to set your players up success. You cannot be the reason that your players don't win. Your players shouldn't have to overcome you. In the game. And this might be a little bit of breaking news. I had Bragg Biggs on the show. Not Bragg Biggs. I always get him Greg Braggs and Bragg Biggs. I had Greg Braggs on the show yesterday. Right. I had Greg Braggs on the show yesterday. And Greg says, you know what I'm saying? He said, Luke may not be as popular in that locker room as, you know what I'm saying? I don't think, anybody thought he was real popular, but he's not as popular in a locker room than a lot of fans think he is. And then also I posted a video footage today that somebody sent me during the Vikings game where it was a 3rd and 2 situation where we believe Matt Eberflus was actually took over play calling for Luke Getsy in situation football. So go check that out on my timeline. It's a video, 3rd and 2, where Matt said, "Hey, let's go," and he looks down, he calls the play, and guess he was doing nothing. So is Ryan Poles already on it, and Matt Eberflus already taking over play call for him? Like they know it, and if that's the case, it's a sign your boy is out of here. Because if I got to do your job, listen, I still work in corporate. Listen, if you effing up, I'm gonna put you on the PIP program, right? I'm gonna put you on the PIP program. The personnel is a personal improvement program.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put you on the personnel improvement program. I'm gonna give you guardrails on how to do your job better. But if I have to take over and start doing your PowerPoint presentations for you and your Excel spreads, guess what you're gonna do? Your ass gonna be on the streets, unemployment line. You know what I'm saying? Shout out
Coach,
to Uber.
You remember when they panned the Ryan Poles and he was like talking about tempo. He was like, hurry up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hurry it up, get it going. That's what I'm saying. Like over the last week and a half or so, we've seen more visuals of Ryan Poles. You know what I'm saying? Like Will was saying, motioning to get the offense going. And now I seen this clip of Eberflus actually calling plays, and they've said things in pressers. So I'm out on this game. I'm probably one of the Bears fans that come on. Hey, y'all got this one, Dose Dion. Because guess what? Luke Getsy gonna Luke Getsy. At the end of the day, we're expecting Luke to make adjustments from 2.5 weeks ago. I was at that game. You know what I'm saying? He called a pretty decent game. But what we're saying is Luke, and I know I'm passionate about this, we're expecting Luke to adjust from game to game and have good adjustments. It's just not going to happen. He's going to come out 11 personnel. It's going to be 20 degrees on the lake, 10 degrees, and this dude's going to come out 11 personnel and gun and try to throw the ball all over the park, freezing, no motions. All the players' hands is frozen, and he's going to try to throw the ball 50 times. I'm telling you, this is going to be the fire Luke Getsy game, and I'm done. I'm sorry. You got me started, man.
Hey, this gonna be.
I want to quote Walt, my producer, after that Lions game, and his thing was, "Don't even let the motherfucker on the bus." So
I was saying that.
Leave him in Detroit.
Janako call the plays. Janako can't be worse.
Say it again.
Janako can't be worse.
You see them on the sidelines hugging each other, leaning on each other when things are good and bad. Justin Fields and Janoku, I forgot how to pronounce his name, but they always right by each other. So I agree. Give him a chance. Why not? You know what I'm saying?
I think Getsy gone though. I think Flus, he got to fire him. Let him be the fall guy because the defense is playing well, man.
Right. Yeah. What was it? The first Minnesota game when we almost won. That the defense was outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They have picked it up. And
by the way, since I got Dose of Dion, I don't know him that well, but I'm a trash talking anyway. You know what I'm saying? The whole y'all made a good point. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, we actually started. They actually pulled out a few games. Detroit did, but I thought our game would be kind of the turning point for Detroit, because I'm right there. You know what I'm saying? 100 section, probably 10 rows up, and I see coverages when I watch games. I'm like, Jared is sucking at cover 2 zones. He can't find the holes in these cover 2 zones to save his life. And I thought Detroit was going to go on a run of just losses because it was that bad. And you know what I'm saying? Like his eyes, it was like he was seeing ghosts. And then there was a drive where Gibbs scored, where Ben Johnson he ran the ball 5 times in a row, right? And as a coordinator, I'm feeling the game, right? I'm watching the game, and that to me, that was you're paying attention to the chess match, right? And to me, that was Luke Getsy got his ass. He got him cornered right now, and the only thing that saved him was the 2-minute drive before half and at the end. So if Luke can keep that up, right, it's going to be a blaring thing. The defense will play well. Right, and I believe that Matt Eberflus he'll make his adjustment. I mean, he'll make his adjustments, but Luke will come out with no clue. He would come out and be like, you know, screen left, screen right, screen up the middle. I don't know.
Somebody eating ice? What's going on?
Yeah, I don't know.
Somebody got some crunchy wings. What's going on? Anyway,
My bad, y'all. Y'all got me started on Luke Getsy, man. Y'all,
it's all good. So I'm gonna bring Juju in on this question because I'm queuing up the Chicago Bears. Thank you, Coach, for queuing that up because you started talking about the last Detroit Lions game. This is Chicago Bears versus Detroit Lions Part 2 this Sunday. And my nephew played high school football, could have played in college, but really just focused on his academics, just recently graduated. Congratulations. Throw up them congratulations in the chat. Throw some bear downs for my nephew Juju for that great accomplishment. He's about standing up. What you about 6'2", 6'3", still about 220.
Man, you ain't got to give me that many.
I don't know. You like
listen, because the camera already gonna have you, so I might look too wide. So, nah.
So I want to bring him in on because he was in BCP's chat last night breaking down football so well. That's why I wanted him to be in here to talk to Coach Will Foster, Dose of DION, and everybody else to bring some of that knowledge because this is where I want him to shine. So with that being said, we weren't able to watch this game together. We watched the Vikings game together. So I didn't get your opinions on the Detroit game. If you want to leave the name LG out, that's fine. But what did the Bears do? What part of that game plan, that offensive game plan impressed you? And what can they do better this game to seal the win?
Great question. And truthfully, the biggest thing I think I saw in that game is they played a full game. They played from the first snap to the last snap. And not every play was a good play. Not every drive was a good drive. They made some bonehead decisions because of LG, whatever you want to call it. So, but it's a young team. That's going to be the case. I'm trying to think who they played. The Denver Broncos early in the season. We get a big lead up on the Denver Broncos. When I tell you at halftime, everybody on the Bears, they kicking it, they chilling. And I'm sitting at home like, we got a game.
Job ain't done.
Yeah.
The job ain't done. So the transition, and obviously that's what, is a benefit as the season go on. You're going to be able to see those flaws in a team that is wanting to be a better team. They're going to pinpoint that. So that's what I would really say was the biggest thing that I have found as an improve from the Bears. Outside of that, definitely Justin Fields. I think he's the trending topic in Chicago. You got people who chatter about letting him go, keeping him. But I feel like in the past couple weeks, before the injury, after the injury, and despite whatever the game plan, he works with what is given to him, and he balls to the wall. Pause. I know my uncle. He balls to the wall.
Big pause.
You're too close, man. Too close.
And it's not even in the sense of, I'm trying to think of it more than just the gameplay. He'd go take a effed up gameplay, and a bad coach who not going to take accountability, and Justin to go on the stand at a press conference and go in the locker room and look at his teammates and he say, you know what, that's my bad. I could have did better. I should have done better. But I appreciate y'all, and I thank y'all for standing behind me and believing with me.
Right.
That's great. And that's, to me, is the number one reason why we keep Justin Fields. You got to have, if you don't have a coach that your team can follow behind, it got to be the quarterback.
And DJ's been going to bat for him every single week. He's like, I want to keep him here. I want him here. And if you start that rookie clock over again, you're going to lose the locker room. DJ's going to want out. Cole's going to want out. Everybody's, even the defensive players are going to want to get out. And the fact that Getsy every single damn week is like, well, Justin should have done that. Justin should have done it. Then stop playing this cookie cutter screen garbage and stop playing not to lose. You play to win. And the thing that angers me more than anything is that Getsy, and less Eberflus now, but in the beginning, Eberflus was starting to do this. They were playing not to lose. Denver was the perfect example. We were up 21-3.
I was at that game.
And I'll to kind of make it a more general statement. It's more Chicago sports in general. These
our teams need to step on step on their necks. Like if we're up 21-3, make it 50-3. Let's go.
Right.
Like stop with this.
I'm with that.
Give me a Dolphins game.
This must be music. This must be music to Dose's ears, right?
Like,
Right.
I don't have to worry about Bears fans. They take care of themselves.
like, I remember that Denver game. Like it stands out to me because I was so angry about it. Like I was driving to Indiana. We were up 21-3. I left Indiana. We lost. Like I'm like,
Motherfucker.
Your game plan can't even take us across state lines.
So let me go ahead and give Dose of Dion some shine because we actually did the pregame. He invited me to the pregame for his show. I was blessed to be a part of his video with him and his great chat. I know you made this statement after y'all won. You said y'all played with your food. Disrespectful, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I said that.
Yes, you did. I got the clip, my guy.
Man. Okay.
Oh man.
But
Jay said you got to finish your breakfast.
Yeah, I was going to say that, Will. Great minds. Jay said finish your breakfast.
Exactly.
Right. He needed a toothpick or something.
Right.
So, was there any part of Luke Getsy's game plan versus the Lions that impressed you and that you feel they can continue to do to possibly complete the win this time?
Well, I'll say this. I think there was a great point that was just made about playing conservative because that was like actually a legitimate takeaway from that last game when we played you guys. I walked away from that as a Lions fan. Like I thought they should have pressed the pedal a little bit more. Like they could have ended that game or at least played to end that football game. It felt like they kind of let us hang around. It felt very conservative for their last two drives to punt it away. It just felt very conservative. They kind of like gave us an opportunity, which I didn't think they necessarily had to give us an opportunity. But I will say this, and I don't know if it was like game specific because, I can remember looking back at that Denver game and the way they got out to a big lead with the shot plays. But I thought specifically the issue that Justin Fields presents for us, I think it's always going to be an issue for us. And specifically, it's the way that they test our second level, the way that they test our linebackers. We're young there. We did have Alex Anzalone in that game. He should be back, which should help. But it's the threat of not only, of course, rushing the football and putting those guys into the action. We saw a very uncharacteristic game to start off. Jack Campbell missed multiple tackles. We had some breakdowns on some of your guys' layers that you try to create rolling out the pocket. And I thought that was something that gave us some trouble. And I think that's always going to be a little bit of an issue for us, but it's also something that we know we can expect. So I don't know if it's something that like I take away that I'm like, man, I don't know if we can handle that. It's just like they're going to put those same guys into that mix once again. I think that's always been the problem with Chicago. They put those guys into the mix, and those guys have to be on point, whether you go from Derek Barnes, Jack Campbell to Alex Anzalone. Now, I will say this. You guys were talking about DJ Moore earlier. That threat is different because that's not something we've seen before. Like you guys have a real receiving core. It's a strong receiving core. Cole Kmet, his ability, I think specifically when you talk about late on plays, third down, his ability to delay, get out, open himself up, make things happen after the catch. This has been a career season for him. But DJ Moore has become a real threat in terms of he can win a one-on-one. And that's not something we've had, I think, planned for. Now you have to throw bodies to that. You guys are a team that we have to play too high to take away those shot plays. So now we lose a defender, right? We played the Saints last week. We can send an extra safety into the box, put both of our safeties essentially in the box to play Taysom Hill. We can't do that against Chicago because you guys have guys that can win on the outside. So for me, when I look at it as, I don't know if there's anything specific that stuck out outside of I know what problems are going to be caused. It's just the Lions have to play it better. That's kind of how I look at it.
Awesome. So I got a question for Ill Will and Foster. I'm going to start with Foster. Let us know, like Colleen said, what can the Bears do this game to keep their foot on the jugular and twist? We'll start with Foster.
Okay, well, the first thing I want to definitely see is because they're missing a couple guys on that defensive line, specifically the defensive end and one of the guards or tackles rather. So I want to see us run some more, man. Foreman's going to be back. So hopefully that changes the aspect. Little bit better spacing on some of the plays. Take advantage of that secondary when you can. Throw the deep ball a little more. I want to see a deep threat 2-3 times a half at least. But run the ball and stay consistent. in every aspect of the game, man. It's taking advantage of it. Even with the offense, I believe the center's out this week for Detroit. So we were getting some good pressure. I want to smack Goff in the face early and keep them down, man. Keep them pressured. I don't think they're going to give the ball up 4 times again this game, but that was the one constant that I want to see from this game defensively. As far as the offense, I don't think we're going to be able to run the same game plan and get away with it because they've been looking at it for a week and a half going, okay, we got to stop this. We're going to have a problem with this. So we've got to mix it up a little more. And I think one of the things is to run the ball consistently down their throat, man, because we should be able to do it. And when they're jamming the box, maybe throw a slant and use a slant, or hate to say it, but a curl, use more of the playbook. We played that game extremely solid for 56 minutes. And I'll tell you what, when it was 3rd down and 5 before we kicked the last field goal, and you could check with Walt and PJ, I texted those guys before we kicked that field goal. I said, the Bears just lost this game because they're going to pull out the prevent defense and it's going to prevent us from winning. And they both texted me back like that was nuts. They didn't say anything 5 minutes later after that. They just were shell-shocked. So keep your foot on your throat, because where I live, if you let the guy up and you turn around, he's going to stab you in the back and you're dead.
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead, give it to us, Will.
Let's go.
I'm a Dose ain't gonna like me for this, but Jared Goff doesn't like playing in the cold. I don't know if you guys know this. He's a California boy. So if you remember back in the day when we played the Rams and they came to Chicago, the Chicago Bears, we put the boost on. So I think that's going to be the key. You got the California quarterback, the surfer dude with the blonde hair. Bring him in here, smack him around a little bit, and that's where the game is going to start. It's going to start on defense. You're going to have to pressure Jared Goff. We're going to have to hit him a few times. And if you hit him a few times, he can throw the ball up. Now, if you let them get that running game going with our boy Demo, the traitor Demo, and it gives Alabama boy, roll tide, But if you let the running backs, if you let the running backs get off, we might have a problem. So we got to stop the run and then smack Jared Goff. So I think the defense is the first step. Just like Foster said, we got to run the ball. And the reason why we got to run the ball because we want play action, right? Because if you know Justin Fields, he plays well in play action. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Play action passes. He's also one of the best deep ball throwers in the NFL. So we run some RPOs, we run some play action, we get just on the run. Detroit doesn't play the run well. Justin Fields has the most insane running game versus the Detroit Lions. He always runs for 100 yards. We need to keep that up. We need to run the ball with Justin Fields, with the running backs, and we need to take deep shots. And if we can do that, then we have a shot. But I don't know if Luke Getsy has the mental fortitude to do anything that we want him to do to win a game. But if we can play a game like that, at this point, my take on the whole Luke Getsy wants to blame Justin Fields, right? Because I think any slander about Justin Fields that comes out of Hallis Hall is from Luke Getsy. He's trying 100%. To save his job. He's playing politics right now. He's trying to put it on Justin Fields and not him. We know Justin Fields can play, regardless of your crappy play calling, right? So he's playing political games. At this point, you got to play balls to the wall, right? We know what Justin. You know what? Why are you scared? You got 5 games left.
Let it rip.
Let it rip. Let it rip.
What are we gonna lose?
Why are we being conservative at this point? At this point, you should just be just let it rip. You're already 4-8. You should be 6-6. You're 4-8 because you're conservative. The Denver game and the Lions game. Yeah. If you actually were aggressive, you would be 6-6, and people would be like, "Oh my God, the Bears improved. We should bring these coaches back." You put yourself in this position. You're the architect of your own downfall. So let it rip.
I'm going to piggyback off of that. We should be 7-5 because we should have won the opener.
Yeah,
Mike
true.
Said that.
Preparation, if we're prepared.
We should have won the opener. I'm going to die on the hill that I think Getsy's a double agent.
See,
we weren't playing bad against Green Bay, but I was at the game and I'm like, we should not be playing this bad with half of Green Bay out.
Right.
And somebody made a comment in the comments saying something about the starting center for Detroit is out this week.
He is.
Ragnar. Yeah, Ragnar's out.
So if he's out, that's a hit to the O-line. Knowing that, get Tez going. Let Tez loose. Let TJ loose.
Move them around.
Let them all go. Like, let Sanborn launch somebody into Naperville. Like, let's go.
Might be our next home.
Like, if we can do that and let Khalid. Wait, I think Rashawn's back this week, right? Too.
Everybody's
I
back.
think all of them.
Everybody, I think they're all back.
The only thing we missing Tyler Scott.
Like Foster said, you gotta let them run.
Let it run. Like, let them all. Like, let Deontay. Like, let Deontay rip. Shout out to number 21. Micah knows.
For sure.
That whole Vegas game, I'm like, 21, let's go.
Somebody likes Foreman for other reasons other than Bears. All right. Bear down.
That's my number.
That's the part of the show that I guess we're missing as guys. Like, we don't have that side. I get it. The dreads do it. All right, Juju. I think Juju had a point real quick, so I'm gonna bring him up.
Yeah, no, I was just wanting to piggyback off Ill Will. He made the statement about coaching, and I know the Dose of Dion I love to hear this. Personally, for me, the one jealousy I do have of the Detroit Lions, and I think they're a great team, but more than anything is Dan Campbell. Like, Dan Campbell make me want to put on some football pads, and I don't even know him.
Makes you want to bite
Like,
some kneecaps.
Man, he make me want to go out
Bite some
and hit
kneecaps,
somebody.
He's got a few screws loose, but
So it's like,
You
man,
need that.
The jealousy.
100%.
Chicago could get that. If Chicago could land a Dan Campbell-ish, a guy who knows how to take control of a locker room and get
Harbaugh.
these dudes ready to play some real football, man, the sky's the limit for sure.
It's so rare in the NFL today.
It's rare.
I got a little smoke. I got a little smoke for. I got a little smoke for Dose.
My quiet nephew.
Go ahead.
Let's drop some bars. This how random the show gonna be every week anyway. This is how we get down, like we at the barbershop, like we at the bar, like whatever. Yep. So if you don't enjoy that and you like super organized shit, keep coming anyway. Come on, get on camera.
There you go.
He sings, so he's got that Tevin Campbell-esque type of tone to it. So we're gonna let him.
No, come on, just two things really. First, that type of coaching is very rare in the NFL to me. That's the reason why I was working in the Raiders, Las Vegas right now. When you look at Las Vegas, they are doing really well since they got Antonio Pierce.
Right.
Antonio Pierce is like Dan Campbell.
Former player though.
Smash mouth, like he's coming and he's hyping everybody up. But I will say that maybe outside of Getsy, maybe there's a little devil's advocate, a little too much criticism on the coaching staff. You look at teams like the Bengals or the Jaguars, who literally kind of started in the same predicament that the Bears is in, and nobody's talking about Zach Taylor. Like, nobody's talking about Zach Taylor getting fired or anything like that. Yeah. Those first 3 years for Zach Taylor were horrible.
It was trash.
That's the reason why they got Joe Burrow. That's the reason why they got Jamar Chase and all of these studs over there on that offense. So I'm wondering if maybe we should give them a little grace. I want to hear from y'all a little grace.
Y'all
for the coaches. I'm
a grace their ass up out of here.
Yeah, I'm gonna do. Foster went to sleep. Coach was like, "No, put me in, dog."
I'm a grace their ass right up on out of Chicago. That's what I'm a grace there, especially the offensive coordinator. Listen, I was gonna say this for
offensive coordinator. Offensive coordinator should go.
Yeah,
35 screen passes in the first half don't cut it. So, yeah. But I'm talking about more as far as Eberflus.
Yeah.
For polls and stuff like that. Like, I get it, they having this debate about Justin Fields or whatever.
Right.
But if you're really thinking about it, there's a lot of teams in the NFL that the Bears could mimic.
Yeah. Here's the deal.
Coach and let him figure out what he want to do, and then put the players that he needs around him, which the Bears have been slowly doing anyway.
Yeah. Here's your defense point for Eberflus, right? And it's overlooked and it's more emphasized this week more than any other week, right? Despite having a losing record, right? And we'll know this. nephew know this, right? If you in the locker room and you losing, the easiest time to lose your locker room is when you taking multiple L's. And despite how Matt Eberflus comes off to the fans and the pressers and to the media himself, he comes off as a little bit of goofy. Yeah, we get that. It's awkward, we get that. But he has not lost that locker room, and his defense is playing better. Now that part, that's why I'm saying, okay, you know what I'm saying? Let's rock with him for a little bit. Let's see what he does over the next 5 games. Continue to improve the defense. And then, you know what I'm saying? The offense is a wash. But I want to go back to the Detroit game because I want to get Dose of Dion's attention because I know we've been riding Luke Getsy, but I think Detroit got a little bit of their own version of Luke Getsy and that defensive coordinator over there because bro, I don't know how Aaron Glenn is teaching them to run the cover 2 or any too high zone coverage, but it ain't looking good on tape, my boy. I'm telling you. It's like guys leaving guys, you know what I'm saying, wide open in the cover 2 zone. Like, that's the one thing that I say, if we take advantage of certain mistakes they make habitually in Detroit, we might get away with some stuff, right? We might, but it's sure. I think I saw another Detroit podcaster. He was going off on Aaron Glenn. And I'm like, and he's breaking it down. I'm like, bro is right. Like, they're not passing off and communicating through those zones the correct way, and they're letting guys run wide open. So, and y'all saw we hit the big play to DJ. That was cover 2 zone right there. It was a double deep post move, and we tried it before. We missed it the first time. We came back and hit it again. Like, y'all didn't adjust. So I'm saying, man, I don't know, but I had to. He here, man. We gotta. Easy target.
Listening, taking mental notes and everything.
Easy target.
Educated, like Foster say. We're getting educated, right, Foster?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dose.
I thought you were speaking of. I thought I knew exactly what play you were talking about because last week against the Saints, we went into a cover 2 look and we gave up a shot play on like a 3rd and 16. That was an Achilles heel for us last week. 3rd and long plays, giving up those conversions, and we've had that. I think specifically when you see that. I was actually going back watching the Bears game before I jumped on here. Didn't get all the way through it yet, but one thing that did stand out was specifically in those looks for me was more about the cornerback play. You have to be you have to be aware, and that's because of, again, all those crossing routes and those layers that they're going to run into your zones defensively. I focused on the cornerback position there, right? That's where I'm focused on the Jerry Jacobs to Cam Sutton. Those guys got to be on point because they're running right there, and you'll get some hit and miss in terms of the depth that we get from that number 2 cornerback position, and we'll see positions like that where guys can get a little bit out of place. Now, for me, a guy like Cam Sutton on the opposite side, I felt very good about how he's played in a lot of his own responsibilities so far this season. I'm trying to think back to that Bears game. I'm trying to think because I got a whole bunch of games going up in my mind right now. I think it may have been the Packers game where you had a quarters look defensively and you had a one-on-one with DJ Moore over top, and I think you had a big shot play on that. That's one of those situations where we're gonna have to upgrade corner this offseason. That's something that we're gonna have to do. But I can tell you this about Aaron Glenn, he's aggressive. I mean, that's who he is. He's aggressive. But these last couple of weeks, the Lions have started to lean more man heavy, and I think it's helped them. Go ahead.
Yeah, I like y'all in man coverage. I mean, if I was a Detroit Lion, if I look up and I see single high safety, I'm like, okay, we're gonna be okay. Where it gets scary is when you have 2 high coverages, cover 2, either man or zone or cloud coverage, cover 4. Y'all might get in a little bit of trouble. So if I see 2 up high, I'm like, yeah, you know what I'm saying. We might have a track meet on our hands, and Chicago, one of the Bears might hit their head on the goalpost.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's the only reason I bring that up is because it showed up against the Packers game specifically where, I thought for them game plan wise, they came in with a real good game plan. I thought they carried over what they did to us. You guys all saw the score. I mean, that was one of those games where we lost on Thanksgiving. Everybody was probably watching that game. But I thought for them in that first half, they had a plan that they were able to carry over from the first time we played them in the second half. We got on top big, had a big lead, and they ended up finding answers the second half. But when you're down 20 plus, it's too late, essentially. But to start that game, they weren't down too late. So the Lions actually had to flip out of it, start to lean more man heavy, and I think it worked for them. So it's been a little bit of a transition. It's going to be, again, difficult against you guys because you guys now have legit man beaters. I mean, we can't just play one-on-one. We're going to have to give help to certain spots, but we'll see. I mean, look, Aaron Glenn's been under a lot of fire. I understand that. I don't have the same smoke for Aaron Glenn personally. Like I don't have that right
Hey,
now.
we smoking on that
but-
Aaron Glenn pack this weekend, buddy.
Okay, but hey, I look forward to it. I look forward to it.
It's weakness versus
It
weakness.
would be great.
Getsy versus
Right,
Taylor.
right.
Hey, so you should be too confident. I mean, you know, Getsy,
Right,
Getsy's been
overconfident.
struggling. I'm just saying.
I'm just having fun with it, right?
No, I hear you. Yeah. No, I'm here for
Maybe
it.
if
Man. Throw
Coach
it
was
over.
coaching, we have it. Maybe if Coach T was coaching. All right,
Hey,
so
me and Ill Will to put a better game plan than Getsy in a 2-hour show.
ain't that fast.
My high school football coach could put together a better game plan than Getsy, and we lost in the first round of the IHSA.
All right, so
Woof.
we're gonna get into
Woof.
this next question. We got just a little bit more going before we actually give out these Chicago Bears tickets.
I want to see who getting this ticket. These tickets.
I hear you. Well,
You got my check, Will, right? Will?
Swifty wanted to bless us with more folks coming over into the chat after his video debuted at 7:00. So it was a shorter video. So he asked me to extend it a little bit more. So we got just a couple more questions and we will give those tickets out. I wanted this crew to be a part of that giveaway. These are some of my favorite people on Twitter, YouTube, Spotify. 3 kings of the Midway be talking they shit, and I love listening to them when I'm in the car doing their thing. They be giving the Bears the business and holding them accountable. Foster always doing this thing. Anytime Foster talks, he makes you want to run through a wall about football. Like his voice all we need to do is give him a clipboard in a Bears jacket on the sideline, and he'll fit right in.
I played in the T formation, man. That's what we ran when I played. We ran the damn T formation, literally.
What, 58?
158.
No, that came from last night. He know what I'm talking about. When we was talking about the T formation. Bring it back. Sure. Bring on the T formation. Run the ball. Run the goddamn ball. So that wasn't necessarily a shot. You know what I'm saying? He's only 25. So let's get into this question. I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Ill Will on this one, and then go to Dose of Dion so he can give his side of it. Since seems like we teaming up on the boy, and I know he's got some fire takes on this particular segment. What Bears players or Lions players worry you? What matchups are you worried about, and what matchups can we expose? Start with Ill Will.
Ooh, I worry about Hutch, Big Hutch. Yeah. I mean, I love Darnell Wright. He's still a rookie. He got him on one of those little strip sacks, and I remember he's a beast, man. Darnell Wright's a beast too. But that boy, when he want to get to the quarterback, he can get to the quarterback. You know what I mean? So that worries me on as far as their defense and our offense. And on their offense, I worry about Gibbs, man. He's a weapon. You know, he come out of the backfield, running the ball, he can catch the ball, and he's dynamic when he has the ball in his hands, man. Like, I mean, that dude can take a play and go to the house. I mean, of course, you got Amon-Ra St. Brown, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those two guys right there worry me on the offense because they can change a game in one play. You know, same thing with Hutch. Anytime you got those game breakers, they can just one play, they can change the whole game. You got to worry about it. I mean, just like us with Sweat and DJ Moore, you got to worry about those playmakers.
For sure. Dose, talk to us. What worries you, if anybody? Go ahead, talk your shit.
Yeah, nobody worries me. No, I'm playing. I want to pick up just where he. I want to pick up where you left off because just to piggyback on what you said. I think you made some good points there. Specifically, I think you were the one that brought up the weather, and I think it's some of those names that you just threw out there become even more, I think, amplified in a game like this, where, yeah, Goff, he's not going to take a ton of shots usually in pretty questionable weather. And I think we saw that last year when we had to play in Chicago. It was Tom Kennedy who came through on a slant, and he made the big play for us. So the St. Browns, the Jahmyr Gibbs, the guys that can make things happen underneath, I completely am that makes a ton of sense. Now, for me personally, I'll point this out because I think It was brought up a little bit earlier, the center position. And this is actually a matchup I'm very curious of because I thought last time we played you guys, it was going to be a key matchup. And it was Frank Ragnow, it was Andrew Billings. Billings is a guy specifically, when I look at this Bears defense, I think he starts everything. For our rushing attack, I think he starts everything. How do you handle that guy? And with him out, Graham Glasgow is going to slide in the center. We're going to put a rookie at right guard. So that matchup specifically, right, he's not the guy that I think, it doesn't seem like as a Bears fan, he gets like the press. Jackson is a guy that he worries me a little bit more in his quickness, his ability to get upfield, get into the backfield. But it's Billings that worries me against the run. The Lions are going to want to lean into that against a very good run defense this week. So that would be the first piece. Then I'll flip it around to the other side. Ali McNeil, I think that was brought up earlier as well. Our best interior defensive lineman, he's out this game. So we could talk run game because now we got to figure out who the heck is going to play that position. But even pass rush. Now I'm curious because Levi Onwuzurike, he's been he hasn't really hit to this point, right? I think we all know that as Lions fans. I don't know he's going to be up for this game. But if there is an opportunity, this is his opportunity to do something. And I think when I look at your guys' offensive line, I see an opportunity with Patrick at center. I see an opportunity with a guy that brings that quickness to the table to make a couple flash plays in the backfield. This seems like if there's going to be that game that he's going to like, oh, hey, hold up. This guy's actually going to be an impactful player. Yeah. This is a game for him to do it. And then I finish off with linebacker position. Across the board, they're going to be in the mix of everything. Missed tackles early, Jack Campbell. Derek Barnes was lost in coverage at times. Those guys are going to be in the mix, and I hope to see some Jalen Reeves-Maybin play this weekend.
Dion, are you sweating anything else?
I mean, look, man, for me, it's the weather. I'm going to be honest. Like, I hate the fact that we have to deal with the windy weather, the rain. I don't want to deal with that as a Lions fan because for me, I'll say this. On an honest point, like, I don't think you guys, I think one of your worst aspects of your defense is getting pressure. I think you're really strong outside of that. Your linebacker play was an issue for us last game, whether that's not knowing where the extra rusher was going from. All of your interceptions came in the same cover 3 defense against us. Your guys' linebacker play is really strong, and it's healthy with Edwards and Edmonds. I'm looking at that as a Lions fan saying, put a lot of pressure. And I think it was the reason that we were able to come back because without bringing extra rushers, I don't think you guys consistently win up front. But in the game like this, where we want to probably stay away from that, now I'm a little bit worried because that run game has to pop. It has to be there. And you guys statistically are very good against the run.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think I want to throw this in real quick.
Go ahead.
Will, you hit it right. Hutch and Gibbs. And if you remember in the second half of that game, they started using Laporte effectively.
I was just thinking of Laporta.
So that's somebody else that my guys to worry about are Hutch, St. Brown, Gibbs. I don't know what Monty's going to do. I'm sure, he wasn't too happy with everything that occurred on his end of the game. But I think Laporte could be the odd man out here that nobody's brought up. I mean, even when we were talking about it yesterday, I think there was one guy in the chat that brought his name up.
I was thinking about him, Foster. He's the one I always go back to.
There you go.
Like you think about Gibbs, you think about Monty, you think about St. Brown.
St. Brown.
My brain always keeps going back to Laporta. Because I watched that Thanksgiving game. I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and
he's gonna be a problem. But if we can contain him, I think we have a shot. Like, Monty is very hot and cold, and he's been that way since he was with us. Gibbs is consistent, but again, he's due for a cold game. St. Brown, same thing. He's hot and cold. But Laporta never seems to get cold. And if we can contain Laporta, I really think we have a shot. Especially with that O-line, the center being out, being a liability for Detroit.
And like he mentioned, like Dion mentioned too, because they are going to be. I was listening to Lomas Brown was on the score today, and he specifically went into Detroit's offensive line, how they got the rookie start, and they're going to be running a couple guys in and out. So that's going to be a real weak point of their offense. And again, it goes back to, man, if we can get pressure on Goff early, take
hit
that
him in the
away.
mouth. Yeah, hit him in the mouth.
Force him to run a little more, maybe, because he's inconsistent. But it all starts with the pressure, like you were talking about, Dion. I love this, man. Fucking Billings, 2 on me, and who's free for this game. I'm just hoping we can pull it off and get a little more effective rushing from the opposite defensive end side of where Sweat's not at. Because to me, one of the biggest aspects for the Bears that I think you guys got to you don't even bring him up is Montez Sweat. You look about the day he came in and how that defensive line has changed, how it's progressed. Everybody stepped up and gotten a little better. because there's a lot less pressure on him. Even Ngakoue looked better the last 2 games with Sweat in there. So, you know, that's one of the other aspects that I think we have the advantage better than the last game against your offensive line because of what you guys are going to have to do to get through this game. You're going to have 3 new guys working on that offensive line. That's pretty big to happen this late in the season. Especially you got a rookie, and I can't remember the other guy's name. Lomas went into this in detail, man. I was fortunate enough to be able to listen to him on the score earlier. Great interview, man.
For sure. Well said, Foster. So I want to go into this. I want to give this great Detroit Lions podcaster, Dose of Dion, a chance to shine a little bit since most of us aren't used to him, don't know him, and we all are pretty much a family. Coach T, Foster, Ill Will, Colleen, the chat, you know, all of us follow each other, support each other. So I want to give you a chance to shine and talk about yourself. When did you become a Lions fan, since you live in Ohio? And what drove you to Lions podcast?
Yeah, well, first off, man, I appreciate you having me here. This is a great panel, by the way. You guys got something really good going here. I'll say this. For me, it was never really like a becoming thing for me. I was always kind of a Lions fan. I was raised a Lions fan by my dad. But there was a stage there where I remember we were struggling. The first season I can remember was 2011. So for me, it was a good season. There was a stage there when I was young where I tried to like transition, become a Bengals fan because I'm in Ohio and there's a lot of Browns fan here. So I'm like, I'll be a Bengals fan. First time we played them, it didn't last. I flipped back, became a Lions fan again. And yeah, since then, I've always been a Lions fan. So I grew up a Lions fan because of my dad. And then what drove me to start podcasting was I think a reason a lot of people get into it. For me, I would every game after the game, shout out to my man. I can't even think of his name right now. He slipped my mind. Basically, you guys know the post-game shows they would do on the radio. It's a lot bigger of a thing back then. We didn't have cable back then. So certain games I would see, certain games I wouldn't. So a lot of them I would just listen to on the radio. So the post-game show, I loved it, man. I always loved listening to the post-game show because I was always so emotional after the game. I was usually mad. So I just needed something to listen to calm me down. And that's when I was like, yo, I could try this. So that's when I ended up trying it. And, it found some friction on YouTube. So I just stuck with it. But yeah, it's been crazy up to this point. But that's how I got into it, man. Just hearing other people do it.
All right. Shout out to you. We are grateful for you finding your niche because I learned so much from you. Your delivery, your confidence, your knowledge. You're pretty dope. I told Foster he needs to come on the show today because BCP, he's the director of media relations, right? I'm saying that right?
Yep.
Right, Foster? So I wanted him to come on. I'm sorry, go ahead, Foster.
I just said that's what they tell me, Bill.
So, he's always out in bars trying to find Bears fans and doing the show live on locations and things of that nature. So I wanted you guys to, I wanted you to also meet not just Foster, but Coach T, Ill Will, and some of the other guys. Swifty had to leave a little earlier. He told me early in the week, man, I'm trying to go out and kick it with my lady. So, but we all know how Swifty is. He does 100 videos a week. So he does that. He's a good man to his girl. So like he dedicates himself to those two things. So he couldn't stay on much later to meet you. So hopefully y'all can connect too. So each one of these podcasters can get you on maybe next year because we always play each other 2 times a year. So what I want to do right now, right before we get into the Chicago Bears ticket winner, I want to give everybody a chance to give their Bears versus Lions predictions. Score. We'll start with Coach.
Ah, man, that's tough, bro. Cold weather in Chicago on the lake in December. I'm gonna call this a defensive game, man. I think it's gonna be a lower scoring game than the first event. So I'm gonna say, I know I picked us to lose yesterday, man, but having Dose of Dion in here, man, it stirs something up in me, man. I'm competitive, man. I'm competitive, man. I'm gonna say if we win, it's gonna be something like 17-14 Bears. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. You know, it's all. You know, I'm out. I can't have. I know I beat Luke Getsy to death today, man, but I can't. I'm done on trying to put trust in this dude to get the work done. Real quick story, man. For the first game, I was actually. I'm gonna tell you why I'm so hard on him, especially now. I was actually moving from my seat, which was already in the 100 section, but on the side, right? And I was like, man, you know what? I got friends that's sitting right behind the bench on the third row. I'm gonna move over behind the bench, and I'm gonna call Luke over, and I'm gonna give him some props because he finally finished the game for once. And we went to bed. So that's out. So yeah. But for this particular pod, 17-14 Bears, man.
You sound like what's old boy Coach 30.
That's a reluctant 17-14, man.
Piss down his leg.
Yeah. And that's my boy.
Right, piss down his leg. Coach T and Coach 30. All right, so let's go to Ill Will on this. What's your prediction?
Same thing, low scoring game. I think the Bears are going to win. I think they're going to go in a little bit of win a few games at the end of the year. And like I said, I don't think Goff is going to put up a lot of points. You can stop that run game, which we have a good run defense. I think we're going to win a game. It's going to be ugly. I say Coach 17-14. I said 17-13. There's going to be a lot of field goals in this game. It might be. It's going to be a lot.
Might be a couple safeties.
It might be 16. Yeah, it might be a safety. It might be 16-13. Actually, it's going to be a funky score like that. But it gonna, I'm honest like that. I think it's gonna be like everybody's gonna be kicking field goals. It might be one touchdown scored by each team.
Testing Santos's leg here.
Yep.
Colleen,
I'm gonna 100% agree. But my score is gonna be a little bit higher with that safety. I'm thinking 19-13 Bears.
I like these scores.
That's such a Bear.
We're gonna smack off into the end zone for a safety.
Yeah. Black and blue division.
And my money is on. Let's see. I'm gonna go Tremaine Edwards for the safety.
Nice.
I'm gonna pull an. But I have Billings in the back of my head too, so.
Real fast, I just looked it up earlier. That Rams game where we played on Monday night or whatever that Will was referencing, the score was 15-6.
Yeah,
exactly.
Such a Bears score.
This could be like a really colder version of the San Fran home opener from last year.
Sloppy.
I was at that game.
All right, Foster.
I'm going to go, man. Damn, Zach in the chat got me. 21-17 Bears. I'm going a little higher because we're going to tear it up, man. We're going to do some running, and we're going to run an effective screen because hopefully they can run the plays prior to the screen in the right context. That's been a problem with a lot of damn screens too. Is the shit they run before the screen doesn't set the screen up. So maybe we get a little more right, and we'll come out on top. As far as your safety, for some reason, I got Justin Jones in my head doing some damage there on the line. I think he's going to pick up another sack this week, man. And that Peyton Awards Man of the Year, that's just a great honor, man. You're talking about good people. It's more than just a game. It's good people. I had to throw that in there because I didn't get to say it earlier.
Oh yeah, that's big time. All right, so Michael, you've been quiet. I'm gonna let you get a little bit of shine with this shiny ass watch you got. This goddamn spotlight. You already know I got the Forrest Whitaker eye, so if I'm looking off to the side, that's what happens. It just gets lazy. Sometimes I'm looking at my nephew. Sometimes I'm looking at Micah. Sometimes I'm staring straight cross-eyed at my wife over there on the couch. Micah, what is your prediction?
So with how the defense has been playing these last few games, I think it really is going to be on them. They're going to have a good run stop defense. And I think Justin is actually going to have a real good game. I'm going 17-24.
He took it up a touchdown. It's going to be a shootout.
24?
Right.
I think the defense gets one.
Okay.
Old school Bears.
Okay.
Or 20 years ago. Feels like it's old school.
Nathan Bass with pick six.
Ain't gonna be Jalen Johnson.
Oh,
Ain't gonna be Jalen Johnson. He can't catch a cold. But naked on Lake Michigan in December.
He ain't catching babies like who was that? Aguilar
Yeah.
Nephew, you got something?
I'm probably gonna go 17-14 Chicago. I think that Bears will get off to a hot start in the beginning, like they've been doing a couple times this year. After they do a hot start, I think Detroit might start to make a comeback, and we end with a close field goal at the end of the game.
All right. I told my wife I'm gonna let her get a little bit of shine on this one. We gonna let you
Let my girl in.
Come
Let my
over
girl
here
in.
quick. This is Chicago Bears #1 fan. This ever since she married me, she's trying to learn sports and get into it. So this is the person that likes things and buy these fine instruments to do this podcast. What is your prediction, ma'am?
21-12.
Ooh, safety involved.
Bears win, right?
Yeah,
Bears win.
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate you. So, thank you, baby. Thank you, my love. What these tacos again?
Yeah.
She's like, I'm out.
That's the taco provider. Foster said he's coming over. Coach already said he's flying up. Dion, you invited anytime.
I'm sliding.
Again, I keep saying this, but this last thing, just so I can give my panel their shine, we're gonna do this last segment. It's gonna be real quick. I want you guys to stand by your tweet. This is gonna be for, we got a tweet for Ill Will, we got a tweet for Coach T, we got one for Foster, and I believe we got one for Joseph Dion. So basically what we want you to do, we'll pull up a tweet that we found, just like we did with Swift. We thought it was fire. We thought you should elaborate on it and get your shine on, get a little mini monologue on, and then we'll go ahead and do the ticket giveaway, which I know everybody is here for. God dang, I think Swift just sent 15 more people. It went from 33 to 48 in like 2 seconds.
All right.
So let me go ahead and get that queued up for you guys. Give me a second. Let's see, who we gonna start with first? Which one is spicy?
Spicy. Like them tacos.
Spicy.
Or some wings. Y'all done made me hungry.
All right.
I know. I'm
Hey, I just had Falcos at work, so.
All right. Let me see here.
I'm sure I got some spicy tweets.
Yeah, I'm trying to see which one I just pulled.
Hey, Will been on fire lately, bro. Hey, man. Hey, Will, you get to the city, man. Hey, I know the guy got security. He do security, bro.
Hey, I'm from the west side. They don't want them problems.
I shot one of your tweets out earlier, Will. I don't remember which one it was, but I saw it and I had to retweet it, dude.
We gonna go.
I know whose tweet I don't want
there
to
you go.
stand by.
I got you, Will. I got you right here.
Where's you?
After this week.
Sorry, we getting a little
Yeah, don't sweat it,
little bit of freezing going on and lagging, so trying to fill in space. It should pop up momentarily.
Isn't that what she said? Oh, sorry.
Ah! That's why I love Foster. But
Oh yeah.
Here we go, Will.
Hey, we keep it all clean on my show for at least the first 10 seconds.
All right. Go ahead, Will. Do your thing, and I'm gonna bring you up after you read it.
All right. It said,
I
quote tweeted Josina Anderson. She sold the Chicago Bears expect to have interest in Commander's assistant head coach, offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy, among others. I secretly think this is who Poe actually wanted all the time. Casey Ties, a much more talented play caller than Matt Nagy. I think he is. I think he can produce a good offense with either Fields or Williams. Yeah, I stand by that. I still think Blues is probably going to keep his job if he ends the season like with a decent record. Because you got to understand, we were rebuilding. We won 3 games last year. So if they go like 7-10, that's an upgrade, right? So I don't know how you really can fire a coach in the middle of a rebuild when you tore everything down last year. But I do think that Ryan Poles knows Eric Bieniemy probably better than all the other head coaches. He was with him for a very long time in KC. They probably have the same philosophy because they kind of came up under Reed and know what they like and know what they want. I know the KC thing scares a lot of Bears fans because of Matt Nagy, but we see the difference between the offense when Eric Bieniemy was running it and Matt Nagy was running it. So in Kansas City, it looked a lot better with Eric B. But if it happens, I still don't think it's going to happen unless the Bears go 0-5 to end the season. Then you got to fire Eberflus. But it don't look like they're going to go 0-5. So if they did start over, I think he would have a really good shot. The thing with Harbaugh, I like Harbaugh. I think he would be a hell of a hire, but I don't know how him and Poles would get along. He seemed to be like he wants power. And I talked to some people that kind of know the inner workings of the Bears offense, and I don't know if Poles would want to go that route.
Go ahead.
I don't know if he want to be fighting the head coach. I ain't gonna name drop.
I got Mr. TMZ.
I don't think Warren's big on him either.
And that's my take on it. You know what I mean? Because when I think I posted something, and somebody that been in the NFL was like, "That ain't never gonna happen because of Poles. He didn't want to give up power." And I was like, "Okay, I ain't gonna argue with you. I ain't gonna argue with you." But yeah, that's my take. Yeah, I stand by my take. Damn it.
Stand by your tweet. So y'all see how we spell it? 3-point stands. We're fanatical fans. A lot of people think my name is Stan or somebody in this crew's name is Stan. Just like people thought I was OV. Stan for fanatical fans. So he just made himself a stand for his tweet.
Maybe we get you a nice Jerry curl wig and you can just come on. You can be like what's his name? Martin Lawrence. You can have different characters on the show.
Right.
I'm throwing out ideas for free. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to pay me.
You already know how I am.
This is Stan, you know what I'm saying, with spray the Jerry curl wig. You know what I'm saying? This all
and the hammer pants, and the hammer pants, and the hammer pants.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Say it again.
A gold tooth in the pinky ring.
All right. Let's see here. Who we gonna pull up next? Foster, I'm gonna pull it up. Let you read it if you like. If you want me to read it, I can do it for you. But once it pops up, stand by your tweet.
Ryan Givens. Roshan Johnson should get an increase in carries and playing time with Deonta Foreman nursing the ankle injury. His physical running style will be a great spell for Khalil Herbert. Can he solidify a spot on the rotation? And I said, I've been saying it from day one, that this guy is a number one 3-down back, if need be, man. You don't always want to run in that, but from the day we drafted him, actually, Swifty and I were talking about him prior to the draft. We had many conversations on him. And I mean, just look at him throughout this season. I remember saying this and people going, no. And then we get into the preseason and then he's playing a little bit early in the season. They're like, oh shit, man, he could be taken over by week 3, 4, or 5 even, So just his play on the field. The guy can block. He can run. You've seen it. He can catch passes. He's probably the best blocker we got as far as out of the backfield. And I still like Herbert in his old role, and that kind of showed from last year and the prior year when he had Monty, when it was Foreman and Herbert, and everybody was hurt. But I still state, and I'll stick with it, man, is that he can be a 3-down back if necessary. I still believe he's going to be the primary guy, man. I'd like to see what he would have done in college if he wasn't running behind Gibbs, because that whole body of work there is not used as intensely as a lot of these other guys coming out of college. So time will tell on that, but I think you're going to see it even over the next 5 weeks, man. We'll just have to wait and see. But I stand by that from the day we drafted him. I think I quoted that on our show in May. On a Thursday night, prior to even putting that tweet out, because that tweet was more recent. I remember doing it the other day, guys. Whatever.
For sure. Yeah, because I love me some Rojo. Pre-draft, I was get us some Rojo, especially if you let Demo walk. That guy's physical, can knock some heads back, and we've seen some hard runs where he lay people out. So I agree, Foster. I love that tweet. We gonna queue up Kizoch, Big Bro, Coach T.
I already know where you're going with this one. I already know what tweet it is. Let me see. Oh yeah. Actually, you surprised me with this one. You surprised me with this one.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know.
Okay.
Can't give you no layups, Coach.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm sticking by this tweet. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be the biggest indictment on Luke Getsy's career. You know what I'm saying? For me, it's one style of play right here that you got to call this game. And it's a physical style of play in the cold weather. So you go heavy 12 plus personnel, 12, 13, 21, 22 personnel. You bring Corey Blasingame in the game. Hey, I got a saying, man, since I went to Lambeau, was that last year? My first trip to Lambeau, great things happen with Corey Blasingame is in the game. You bring the fullback in the game, man, and you let these guys knock head, old school style, NFC Central style football, a backroom brawl or alley fight, and y'all get after it. You know what I'm saying? But we have Luke Getsy, and something that we've been talking about, we've been saying it, circling around it all night about Luke Getsy. Here's it in a nutshell. Bro is soft. He is soft. You know what I'm saying? Nothing about this dude says Chicago. Not the south side, not the west side, not the north side. No side of Luke Getsy says Chicago. So, yeah, I'm sticking by that tweet. Yes. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Soft?
Yeah, he's soft. He's soft.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah. My boy got the graphics.
All right.
I thought you was going to go for the one where I tweeted out that, you know what I'm saying, it's MHJ in the draft versus the Hall, right? MHJ versus the Hall. And I'm taking the Hall. Why? Because you have to ask yourself, is one player, Marvin Harrison Jr., worth more than the Hall we got for DJ Moore, right? That's my, Jay-Z said, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. So I put my business hat on. You ask yourself the question, you know what I'm saying? Is one player, is MHJ worth more than the Hall we got for DJ? A great player.
You get 3 first.
Yeah, we got exactly. You flip that. You say we got a good player from an existing team. We got this year's first. We got whatever we got for the Hall, right? And understand the position we're in. We're in a position to double down on what we did last year in that Hall. The other question you have to ask about what we do in this draft is this. Are we in a position? Are we taking a swing for the Super Bowl, right? Or are we still building a team? I say you take the swing. Keep in mind, right? We will still get the first rounders to be able to take our swing next year, right? So if you keep building this year and take your big swings next year to say, okay, we get the type of picks that build us a deep playoff team this year, right? Next year you swing for the Super Bowl,
100%.
right? So I'm saying I'm doubling down. I'm doubling down on the DJ trade. I'm using both of those picks. I'm taking the Hall. I know we fall in love with players, but this business, man, it's business.
I totally agree.
And I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
I was telling people this too. I'm gonna piggyback off that real quick. Because everybody's caught up in this. Caleb Williams, he's a general. He ain't Andrew Luck, bro. I'm gonna say that. Andrew Luck was the last. He's not. Andrew Luck had no flaws coming out. You know, he's a great player and he's gonna be good. But like Coach T said, you got to look at the opportunity that you have. It's unprecedented. You have 2 first overall picks 2 years in a row. You trade down, you can get another first this year, possibly in the top 10, and you got your own other top 10 pick. You get a first next year, and then you get a first again next year. We only didn't get a first the third year because we took a second in DJ Moore, which was the equivalent to a third first. So you can go into your next the next 3 drafts with 2 first round draft picks. That's why, like, you look at Detroit, like Dose of Dion right now. Yeah, that's the reason why they're so good. This team had multiple first round picks in multiple drafts. They had it last year.
Don't forget, Will. No, I was going to say, don't forget that I think what people forget about doubling down on the DJ Moore Hall, right? With these 2 picks we got this year, you forget you get the cherry pick If they want to come up and get those, you get to cherry pick the best player or one of the star players from another team, an established player. So if you want one of the, if Washington wants to come up, you say, all right, send your boy Allen to one of those interior defensive linemen. If you want an edge rusher, if it's Las Vegas, all right, you send us Max Crosby. If it's Arizona, you send us Buda Baker. Now, when you get a guy that can play from day one, right, and then you still get the same haul, you go into the next season with still, like we were saying, still 2 first rounders. I don't love none of these draftees that much.
Yep.
Exactly.
But,
and that's what you see. That's what you see. Like I'm gonna give Dose of Dion props. Like I like the way the 49ers, the Eagles, the Lions, the way they built that team. They are stacked. You can go through their entire roster outside the Lions cornerbacks, which they'll be able to address next offseason. They are just stacked. They're just more talented than us. Right. But if you have this QB savior complex where you think you're just going to draft the right quarterback and he's going to be Peyton Manning and elevate your whole organization, or you can actually build your team. Because I've been a fan for so long of the Bears, hoping on the QB savior, thought it was Jay Cutler, thought it was Mitch, thought it was Justin Fields, right? You build the team. That quarterback needs a team. He needs a line, both sides of the ball. He needs DBs, linebackers, wide receivers, tight ends, the head coach, the coordinator. Just build a team, and you have a shot.
Plug your ears on this one, Colleen. Plug your ears on this one, Colleen. Ryan Post can't blow his wad this year. It's too early. You can't prematurely let that bad boy go. You gotta hold it. You gotta hold it, Ryan. It feel good to you, Ryan, but you gotta hold it, dog.
Oh my God, Coach, I love you.
You got.
I'm gonna tell Terrence you said that.
You gotta hold it, Ryan. It's too early. She gonna be talking. Ryan, she gonna be talking about you in the group chat, dog.
No.
Feels good. All type of what is going on?
Hey, would you guys bitch if we had Malik Neighbors or Coleman on that other side and maybe a Chop Robinson and a bunch of other picks and a defensive end?
Yeah,
I sure would.
This is how you take. We talk about taking over the North and don't give it back. This is essential. This is the formula. Don't blow. I don't have another expression for it. This is how coaches talk in the locker room. Ask your nephew. Don't blow your wad early, Ryan Pose. Trade down. Take the 2 hauls. Yeah, like y'all know how we talk in the locker room.
Right. Take the jock off and let's go.
Talking about blowing wads in the locker room. We can't.
Piss your pants, blow your wad. We say all that.
They blowing wad. That's not where they blowing wads at.
And Coach, listen, because I know my uncle to jump into these tickets, but I just kind of want you to think about this, and maybe we could touch back on it. If we kind of go with the tactic of, using these picks wisely, we could trade the first, get one of them defensive ends, role players from another team, and bring them over to Chicago, or we just kind of spread our, our trades picks over the next years out. My question is, how long do we develop? Because I feel like we already kind of bit a bullet this past year passing up on Jalen Carter. Do I think that the Bears will still find success on the defensive side without Carter? Yes. But we cannot sit here and say that Jalen Carter is not a transitional player in the NFL right now. And in the NFL right now, to be an elite team, you have to have those players who just completely show that they are better than whoever they are lined up against. The Micah Parsons, the Hutchinsons in Detroit, even on the offensive side of the ball, the Tyreek Hills, he is unstoppable no matter what. If Tyreek Hill is on the field, you are set. Because he's going to find a way to get open. He's going to find a way to have an impact on the game. So I just want you to just think on that. Just to give me
I got a response for that. You ever had a friend? You ever have a friend to put rims on a Yugo? Put rims. They put rims. They put
from Maywood.
They put rims.
Don't knock on them Yugos, Coach.
You ever had a dude put 20s on a Toyota Tercel? That's exactly what
he put.
Coach, I had to learn how to drive in a Yugo. Don't be knocking on those Yugos.
Yeah. You don't put Yeah, you don't put rims on a Toyota Tercel. You know what I'm saying? You got you if it listen, we like they said in Kings of Comedy or whatever that comedy show is, we all know that's not a Bentley. That's a Chrysler 300, dog. It's a Chrysler 300. It's not a Bentley. Like, no, build it the right way, man. I think we get impatient. And again, I'm not opposed to having those players, but it's timing. It's always like timing in business.
Yeah.
You got to make the big swing at the right time. Listen, we use words like transitional, generational talent, stuff like this. This is the NFL. They have a farm, right? Yeah. They have a farm system. It's always going to be dudes coming out of college that they're going to label with generational talent. We build this year, we get a little closer. But you think about Jalen Carter, look what he stepped into. Jalen is not flashing on that Philadelphia defensive line just because Jalen, they got monsters on that Philadelphia defensive line that he's playing off of, and he's getting one-on-one matchups that he can eat on. You need to spread the wealth, right, in terms of talent. Let's get us close, right? Get us close when we say, hey, we're one or two players away, right, and then you take your swing, right? But this year, we're not. Best case scenario this year, we get to like 7-9, right? If you double up on the trade from last year with DJ Moore with these two picks, you can get to a playoff run, right? It might not even be a deep playoff run, but see how far you get with those players. Remember the stars you're getting, right? Then you make your deep playoff run. If you get a deep playoff run or a moderate playoff run, win 1 or 2 games, then you can decide, all right, I'm just 1 or 2 players away. Then you make your swing. So if we do it this way, I'm putting us in the Super Bowl, not next year. I'm saying we make a Super Bowl run by 2025.
You're gonna be
I'll die on that hill too.
All right, cool. Great response, Coach. We could go all night and we can go on after these tickets, but we got one more. Stand by your tweet. Give Dose of Dion some shine. So, Dion, I'm gonna pull up your tweet and then we can get into these tickets after you elaborate.
The Lions gonna win on Sunday.
I know they ain't.
Stand by your tweet.
I was shocked none of you guys took him. I was expecting somebody to pick the Lions. I'm surprised. Couldn't believe it.
All right, hold on.
Taking the Bears.
There we go.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Look, man. Okay, let me say this. Because I'm on the Bears panel here, and I want to be fair. I will say this: we were doing a live stream when this went down, and the reaction across the panel, because none of them were Bears fans, they did not like the trade at all. And I defended the Bears in this sense. I said, Chicago making that trade, I'm looking at the roster. I look at your guys' salary cap situation. I'm like, they just need a guy that's proven that's talent. And my argument was, it's like, okay, are you going to land that player with that second-round pick? What are the odds you do that? So I didn't have an issue with you guys making the trade. But I will stand by that tweet that was just put up there that I wouldn't have traded a second-round pick. And I'll also add on top of that we probably would have had to give up more because our second-round pick, I assume, would have been worse than your guys' second-round pick. So there's that aspect too. But our second-round pick, I wouldn't have done it. And I could go into a couple of reasons here. It's different situations. The first reason is this. Just watching through the players, I didn't think he was a significant upgrade for us personally to give up a second-round pick. Not as a pass rusher. I liked his run defense, but I didn't see him as a significant upgrade as a pass rusher. And to me, when I looked at what we needed at the time we were considering that position at the trade deadline, I look at what we have, guys like Josh Paschal. We didn't need a guy that could be a good run defender. And we can kind of go to that category too. I like to keep our draft picks. You guys just had a great conversation about holding those draft picks, keeping draft picks, building on them. It gives you flexibility in the draft, but it's not just about building in round 1, right? You acquire picks in round 2, round 3. Those are the game changers. St. Brown's round 4. If you look at our second round picks that Brad Holmes has made, some of our best players second round picks, Sam Laporta, Brian Branch this past year, Josh Paschal, the guy just threw into that mix, right? You throw Levi's the only one that you're not really sure because of injury. So I didn't want to give up a second round pick on top of that because I usually don't want to take away draft capital from how well he's done it. I think that's what springboard everything for us. And then I'll also throw this point out there as well. For your guys' situation, you guys paid him. And, that's the thing. When you guys made that trade, you had to pay him. There wasn't a situation where, like, we give him a second-round pick and maybe he doesn't make the team. There wasn't that. He's getting paid. Your comp pick's not going to match if he walks in free agency. That's why I was a little bit more on the Chase Young board. I was like, if we made that trade, even if you didn't want to keep him, maybe you get some comp pick in return potentially if he finishes pretty strong. And maybe you kind of it doesn't hurt as much when he walks, but you're not going to get that with Sweat. Not what you're giving up. You're going to have to pay him. And you guys have him as the 5th highest paid average salary for an edge defender. And I think that's fine for where you guys are, because you're not really paying anybody on the front. But for us, we got Hutchinson right on the way. He's going to have to get paid soon. So for us, I think just where we were at financially, where the draft picks are at, to me, it wasn't a significant upgrade or something that I would have given a 2nd round pick. Plus, I don't like putting guys over other people where I don't see a significant upgrade in terms of, if I traded for Sweat, what do I do with James Houston when he comes back, right? Where is Josh Pascal's role? We have guys drafted here. I have to give them an opportunity. And if I don't give them a fair shake, I'm just wasting those draft picks. So for me, a 2nd round pick didn't make sense. I wouldn't have done it. Only guy I would have considered was Chase Young because of the late 3rd that they gave up. But I don't think for you guys, it's the same situation.
Yeah, it works differently for us. I get the tweet, right? It's not good. It's not a good exchange for y'all, but it's a good exchange for us because going into this free agent market, and y'all have to talk to Swift about the details of who we got where, and he know all the players and the positions, all that stuff. But I've heard that the edge is not like we'll still be in a similar situation next year, that we would have to, whoever we get in the rookie, we would have to ramp up as an edge rusher. I don't believe there's guys out there right now that's going to come on day one and they just lighten up the league, right? And then so if you got to compete with the guy, sign him now versus wait until he hits free agency and the price tag to go up, right? So
exactly,
I get it,
and that's the difference. I was
so
quickly say, I think that's the difference for you guys. He helps you now, also, but he's also a future move. When you guys made that trade, I was saying immediately, you're going to extend him. That's a future move. That's not now. For us, I think a lot of fans are looking at it. What can help us for a Super run? You don't give up a 2nd round pick for a Super Bowl run when he's not a significant upgrade immediately. So that's why I think it's different. You guys had him for the future, and it makes sense. He'll be there for years.
And I didn't even mention this, right? Y'all, when on the last take, you guys are in the position that we would like to be in after a haul next year, right? Where you're swinging for the fences on your next draft, right? So if we can get to where y'all are this year, right? Then we can take the swing.
All right. So I got something for those folks out there that talked about the 2nd round pick being given up. They brought up Chase Claypool, said that was a failure and all that stuff. I knew once we got Montez Sweat, that would add some fuel and fire to the defense, especially his run defense, like DION said. So real quick, before we cue up the video for the announcement, I got something for y'all that claim it wasn't worth it.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care. Let me tell you something. We don't care. Jerry.
I love that.
I see you getting snazzy with the production back here. We see
you are know how my
can we also shout out Michael Lombardi too?
Oh, that was
good. Oh yeah.
Like
drunk,
drunk
uncle on my show.
Him and Tannenbaum, I swear, get paid for the worst takes in media. Period.
So I was blessed by Chicago Nick of Just Another Year with a video submission to help us drop this announcement. So first, I'm gonna show the seats where you. Though that's where, that's where you will be seated at. So.
What's up, guys? My name is Nick Rohde from Just Another Year Chicago Bears, and I am super excited to be a part of this video with Vil and 3 Point Stand on this giveaway. Vil sent me over a couple questions to answer for you guys, and I might have some answers you weren't expecting. So do I keep my ketchup or jelly in the fridge or the cabinet? And it's kind of a 1-in-1 situation. I keep the jelly in the cabinet and the ketchup in the fridge because, I don't know, cold ketchup tastes so much better than warm ketchup, and I'll die on that hill. When it comes to wings, I can eat 30 in one sitting. If you want to challenge me to it, would love to get that on video. So make sure you follow us and make sure you message us about that. But I am a big drums guy, and no, I don't like boneless. I will eat it, but I prefer bone-in wings, just to say that, and as hot as possible. Bill asked me what the last song I listened to was, and to be honest, I was totally in my Chicago mode, and I was listening to just overall Frank Sinatra's finest, especially I was last listening to My Way. Oh, it looks like there's one question left to answer. Who is the winner of the Chicago Bears ticket giveaway? I'll leave that to the crew over at the 3 Point Stands podcast. I am super pumped for this giveaway, guys, and whoever wins it, you are getting some awesome seats and going to see an awesome game because the Bears are making a playoff push. You can stamp that on my name. But with that, thank you very much for tuning in to this episode, and bear down, baby.
Definitely rock with him on the drums.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know about Frank Sinatra though.
Hey.
Hey, he be in traffic.
Oh, Blue
I'm just saying.
My way.
Come on, everybody wants
Chicago.
to be
No.
He made a song about Chicago, so he get love from me.
For sure. All right, let's cue up that drum roll, Foster, for me if you got it. All right. That was a little trouble in there. All right, we're going to pull up their tweet first.
Getting old, brother.
The big winner is Skyler. His handle on Twitter is at Skyler Marshall. SKYLERR. Marshall. MARSHAL. He also shared a picture of him and his brother. Pretty dope. Love a brother team. Pause. I lost my brother in 1999, so this tweet really affected me. I told him, man, bro, I lost my brother. I wish I could go to games with him. Miss him. He was like the best thing ever. You know, y'all know how it is when you have an older brother, older sibling, father figure, or whatever, whatnot, and you lose them at a crucial part of your life. I was 17 years old, and he was shot and killed. Streets of Chicago for you. So this tweet really had me going. My wife actually picked it, so I had to kind of walk away when she picked it. You know what I'm saying? She was like, maybe we should do this guy. And I was like, trying to be tough. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not right now. And I'm like, him. That was cool. Yeah, they piggybacking. But that was just a few minutes before the show. So, Skyler, we will be reaching out to you via DM on Twitter to let you know that you won the tickets and to make sure we transfer them over to you. The tickets were provided by Micah, as we said earlier. Micah is one of our co-hosts on the show. He had to leave. We wanted him to do the actual submission and speak, but he had emergency. He had to run out real quick. So prayers up for that situation. We don't know exactly what it is, but we hope it is okay. So give a round of applause. Give a bear down in the chat for Skyler.
Big shout out to Sky.
Man, they might come and grab one of those guys out of the stands if they could snap the ball.
Yeah, that's how I'm looking at. That's some big dudes.
Some big dudes.
Bear down. True.
Congrats, Skyler.
And I sat with Micah in those seats. They're fantastic.
Yeah, man. He came up on the sale at the tailgate. We was at the Vegas Bears tailgate, and Colleen was supposed to join us. She came in a little late, like, man, I'm shopping for tickets. And Micah had already had his tickets for that game on Ticketmaster, so he blessed her for the low, and they were able to get into the game. So appreciate you all for joining us. So I'm gonna wrap this show. I'm gonna give everybody a chance to let you all know where y'all can find them: Twitter, Instagrams, TikToks, and things of that nature. And then we will let you all go. We appreciate everyone. I think we topped at about 48 watchers and tons of people in the actual chat. So we appreciate you all for staying over the extended time of 3 hours and 8 minutes on our very first launch of our live stream. So we're going to go ahead and start with Will. Where can they find you?
You can find me at @illwill, at 79illwill on Twitter. Like I said, 3 Kings in the Midway podcast on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, and soon to be YouTube. So that's it. Thanks for rocking with us, man.
For sure. All right. Colleen, go ahead and tell us where they can find you.
First of all, shout out to you, Bill, Will, Coach, everybody for having me on. Find me at KyleMarie21, Insta, Twitter, TikTok, all of it. And just, thank you guys so much for the opportunity. I've really, really had a really good time.
Absolutely. There'll be many, many, many more, as she is a contributor to 3 Point Stands podcast from now into the future. Foster, cue you up. Where can we find you and your wonderful, many different talents?
You can find me, you can find us at Bears Country Productions. We're on YouTube, Spotify. We're on like 7 platforms. I don't even know what they all are, honestly. Facebook, Pro Sports Fan app. That's through Mike Tyson and Sean Salisbury. Got 4 shows on a week, soon to be 6. Our big show, Bears Country Podcast, that I'm on with my cohorts. These guys are nuts. We have a blast on Thursday nights. That's at 9 Eastern, 8 Central. I also want to thank you, Bill, for allowing me to be on here, man. It's always a pleasure and a blast to hang out with you. Coach T, Will, I catch your stuff, man. I love your stuff. I miss more of it now because I'm doing some more production stuff. DION, I've been watching the NFC North podcast since it came out. I've become a big fan of yours. I don't know about that dude from Green Bay, the other guy from Wisconsin. I'm just kidding, man. I've been following you for probably 10 months since I actually really went out and got on Twitter because I had to, because sometimes that's a shitty country, but gotta get information as quick as you can. So thank you, everyone, man. I appreciate your patience and understanding with my ass.
We love having
everybody out there. Stay safe, man.
We loved having you. Coach, go ahead and drop that knowledge.
You can find me right there. You can find me right there. But listen, man, I'm gonna make this about you, Will, man. Evil, listen, man. Big, huge shout out to you, man. We've had these conversations off and on for the last year and a half or so, man. So this is all about you. This is your moment, man, to shine. And what a way to kick off, you know what I'm saying, your inaugural, I guess that's the right word, podcast with over 45 people in the chat. Shit, it took me 2 years to do that. So you already breaking records on the show, man. So you know how I get down. If you need any help, any support, I know what it's like. I just transferred platforms this year myself to make the show better for a better experience for my fans, my followers. So, man, this is about you. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to the family, TJ, the nephews, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all do y'all thing. And if you ever need any help, man, you know where to find me.
I appreciate you, big bro. As always, you know, we hit each other on the phone every couple of days or whatever. So say hello to the wife. TJ over here waiting for me to get off. So you know how
mine too, bro. I hear upstairs walking.
Yeah, right.
Mine's gonna be home in a minute, so I got.
Can't keep TJ waiting. Can't keep my girl waiting.
That is the signal.
The signal is when you hear them heels clicking, buddy.
Yeah. So last but not least, at least for the panel, because I'm gonna let my nephews let y'all know where they from. So for the panel that we've invited to the show, we're gonna bring up Dose of Dion. Give me a second so you can have FaceTime. Pause.
Man, well, hey, I gotta ask this first off. I've been trying to figure out what Foster Shirt's been saying this entire time. Can't figure it out. So
hold on, let's go back.
I'll start there. Oh no, but man, I gotta say first off, I want to give a big thing. Oh, there we go. I just have to say that.
I love it. I love it.
Say what everyone else. Oh yeah.
That was worth it. That was worth the wait. I appreciate you doing that. No, I want to give a shout out to the chat, man. All Bears fans in here, and well, mostly Bears fans, I think, in here. And you guys super welcoming. It's awesome to see you guys in here, man. Looking forward to go on to my man Jordy just jumped in here. And also you, Vil, man. Like this is you guys got a great panel going here. The chemistry is on point. The production. There was some good stuff in there. I'm not gonna lie. There's some good stuff. It was funny, man. You guys had some really good clips you threw in there. So you guys got something good going, man. Keep it up. Continue with it. And yeah, I think you guys have a really good group going here. It's awesome. So I'm just happy I was able to be a part of some history, I guess, man. And congratulations to the winner. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you, boss. Appreciate you. Well, let me go ahead and let my nephews, who ever since we was younger, and I'm maybe 15 years older than
Them knees don't work the same, and mine do. That's the age.
Right. So they
knees shot, and mine still moving.
So these boys, let me tell y'all, we was younger. They've always been into sports, always been into anything and everything sports. So they have their own talents. I didn't teach them anything. This is all them, their own fruition or whatever the word is for it. They are so talented. They are so intelligent. So it's not just athleticism. It's an intellect, their hearts. They're good people. Single. For the ladies out there, you see the beer game going. We're trying to get him married off. But these are my guys. Hopefully I can get my other nephews and some of my other cousins in, because I want this to be a family affair. So eventually that'll happen. Got to shout out my wife, TJ, who is always backing me, and Colleen has met her. Coach T has met her. Ill Will, we gonna have him when he comes to Chicago, invite him to the house so he can get a good meal, because he ain't Cali with all them tacos and nachos. He got
SoCal.
Hey, I married into a Caribbean family, man.
Yeah, you good. So I'm gonna let them go ahead and shout out where you can give them. We can start with the oldest. Vic, go ahead.
You can find me on X or Twitter, or whatever you want to call it. SR, Sir Victor Charles. That's what you can find me on Twitter. On Instagram, you can find me as Sir Victor Charles, but it's SIR.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, shoot. For me, you can find me on @3point stands. If you follow the page, I'm gonna definitely have a few tweets on there. My personal account, Julian_LJ6 for the GOAT, LeBron. But follow me.
What?
Tune in.
No, see, Juju, we're not doing that. Juju, we ain't doing that.
Y'all didn't put it in y'all section. Y'all didn't put it in you didn't put it in your moment. I know it in.
Bill, tell him what I sent you. Bill, tell him what I sent you the other day.
Let me keep going, because I'll let y'all have y'all's. I sprinkled it in there.
Let me tell you, Colleen was like, we had a 3-hour conversation when we all met. We was trying to figure out StreamYard. It was me, Jew, Colleen,
Micah.
I think Micah jumped on.
Yeah.
And so we all was talking, and somehow, or Brandon, he's in the chat. He's gonna be on the show soon. He's working right now, so we can't really bring him on camera. That's one of my A1 day ones. He was in my wedding. So shout out Brandon Milton. And they got a baby on the way. Maybe by January, by that Green Bay game. What's Swift say? I was literally Oh yeah. Yeah, he gotta go. We gotta get him changed up.
Listen, don't worry about
Hey,
it. Y'all watching
Bill.
watching great. Tune in to the Lakers game tomorrow.
Yeah, because
Bill.
so basically, go ahead, Foster. Who is that? Foster?
No, I was just gonna say, man, like he was rolling until that last comment, and if he was on my show, what would happen, right? He'd be out of there, man. He'd just take it right off the fucking screen. We don't mess around with that shit.
Yeah, they boot you for saying the wrong thing.
It's all in fun, man.
All right.
Why don't you guys put your info in the chat so we can get it? Because we can see everybody else's, just not you guys.
For sure, producer, do your thing.
Yeah, no, I definitely drop it. But follow me at 3point Pod. I'm gonna be, helping my uncle out any way I can, and that's what we trying to focus on, the drive content too. So find me there, find us there. That's what we're gonna be live.
Yeah, they educated as Foster said. Say it again, Foster.
I said you need lots of help. I'm messing around, dude.
Oh,
you guys do not take me serious. I'm the biggest clown on here all the time.
Oh no, listen, that's what I'm saying. I got thick skin. I want all the smoke.
All the smoke.
I love you, dude.
So I just want to thank you all. I know y'all was giving me, thanks or whatnot. I want to thank you all for agreeing to do the show. Will in the totally different time zone. Dion up in there in was that Ohio? I'm surprised you ain't say nothing about LeBron. Maybe that's a whole different episode because that's what I told them. I told Colleen, hey, another episode, because we spent 3 hours debating that and it gets exhausting. And I was like, I gotta go. I'm like, I gotta go to bed. I gotta go to work. Like, I'm trying to eat.
That's what I'm telling Foster. I got time, baby. Let's go. We can do this all night.
I had to leave them on.
But I sent Bill that TikTok. I'm like, dude, tell your nephew to calm down.
Right. Not today, Colleen. She was like, can we do that Friday? It was like bear centric, focus. All right. So again, we appreciate the chat. We want to shout out the chat, especially because they're a combination of folks that follow me, follow Ill Will, follow Dion, follow Foster, BCP, follow Coach T, Swifty, and some of the other, even Taylor Dahl. She was not able to come on the show. She hit me up earlier. She had felt a little under the weather and couldn't make it. So unfortunately she couldn't, but shout out to Taylor Dahl and even Chris Maltby from the Shy Bears News. He's a great dude, got a great page on Instagram and Twitter. He wasn't able to make it for a Christmas party he had today, which I understand that, you want to take advantage of anything free a company is giving you. Right. Will got to get out of here. All right, for sure. So we're going to wrap it up right there. We thank you all so much for tuning in. And as we always say at 3 Point Stands Podcast, stand for what you believe in. Peace. All right, appreciate all of y'all. Thanks, Dion, man.
Hey.
Thanks, Foster, for the last minute alley-oop, catching the alley-oop and dunking it for us after Taylor pulled out. Pause.
Anytime, my friend. You got stuck with the ugly blonde, though, or white, whatever.
Hey, Bill, I think you're still live, just so you know.
I know.